Edinburgh is a city steeped in stories, from fascinating folklore to ancient myth. Just take a walk around the city and you'll find an abundance of unicorns adorning the architecture. You'll not be short of ghost stories either, and in this quiet graveyard, you'll discover the inspiration for Lord Voldemort and Professor McGonagall. There's the monument to the heartwarming story of Greyfriars Bobby, who stood guard at his owner's grave for 14 years after his death, or the lone piper who haunts the Royal Mile. And our very own has links to the dragons and the knights of King Arthur. Edinburgh, the story never ends. Come find the magic. Edinburgh is the UK's greenest city. Not that we want to make everyone green with envy. There's a space here for everyone, from high escapes to cosy glens, from secret gardens to old railway paths. There's beaches to comb and parks to play in, hills to climb and adventures to begin. Discover panoramic city views as you climb Edinburgh's extinct volcano. Edinburgh's a city for walkers, hikers, bikers, runners, thinkers, ramblers. Discover a new path today. Edinburgh, the story never ends. Edinburgh is a city shaped by water. You can follow the waters from the Pentland Hills right through the city to the Firth of Forth. There's beaches and bridges and boats to see. There's stories to find at the Roman settlement and the old bunker on Cramond Island. Just follow the water and you'll find a story. Edinburgh, the story never ends.
A very good morning to you and welcome back for a Sunday morning session here at the Royal Commonwealth Pool for day 3 of the Edinburgh International Swim Meet 2023. I'm Duncan McKinnell and I'll be taking you through the action along with me in the commentary box this morning. It's the one and only Paul Noble. Morning, Paul.
Morning, Duncan. Back again, day 3 of action here in Edinburgh. Looking forward to it. We had some great action last night in the finals, wasn't it? Some cracking races that we saw, great contests and excellent times. Some meet records broken, hopefully more today.
Yep, I think there were 3 meet records last night and a fantastic 200 freestyle women to finish on as well. But today is a new day and this is what we've got in store for you. We start off with 2 heats of women's 1500 freestyle. The third heat will be swum this evening in the final session. Our sprints today are breaststroke for the men, so it'll be interesting to see what Mr. Petey can do in that one. And the women's 50 butterfly. Men's 100 freestyle, signature event, of course, for the men in many people's eyes. 200 backstroke for the women and the men. Then women's 200 breaststroke completes the breaststroke set for the women. Men's 100 butterfly, and then more freestyle, 100 for the women, 400 for the men. And we finish off with what should be a good one, women's 200 individual medley. Anything that shines out for you? You're saying how you loved 800 yesterday, so...
I did, yeah. We're into the 1500s today. Let's see how we go early on in this Sunday morning.
Pace yourself.
Yeah, we're feeling the pace a little bit in this. Well, I am anyway. On this third day of action, we'll get into that. It'll ease us into it, I think, this morning's session. But some good prospects coming up. We see Duncan Scott and Tom Dean both entered in the 100 freestyle. And, of course, Tom Dean last night saw him in the 50 freestyle. And he actually won the skins. It was almost like a survival of the fittest. So he had the 50-metre sprinters going out for the very first... For the final of the 50 freestyle, if you like. And if they survived, if they were in the top 4, you got to go on to the skins. Of course, Tom Dean scraped in the first round, he scraped in the second round, and of course he was stronger than anyone else. So that 200 fitness that he has on that third 50 freestyle. So he won that by quite a big margin in the end.
Yes, we saw something a bit similar in the women's breaststroke, didn't we? With Imogen Clark blasting the first round, breaking the meet record. And fair play to her as a sprinter, she kept on plugging away, but Cara Hanlon is probably stronger in the 200 breaststroke. We had in that third round, just had too much still in the store cupboard and was able to get the job done to win the women's breaststroke skins. So yeah, it's going to be a very interesting day. That's your lineup for our first event of the morning, the first heat of the women's 1500 freestyle. So we have Catherine Boddy of Geary going in lane 1. Adea Sadako for Daventio in 2. Grace Campbell of Portobello in 3. Caris Mooney of City of Glasgow in 4. Isabella Willard of Millfield in 5. Cara Gordon of Stirling Swim in 6. Georgia Dickey of Dumfries in 7. And India Marshall goes for East Lothian in 8. Looks like we've got an empty lane in lane 2, so Adea Salako is not here, but the other 7 are. Entry times 18:07. Caris Mooney is the fastest on paper, up to 18:28. So settle down with your morning coffee, your toast or your porridge, and enjoy some 1500 freestyle swimming.
Yeah, it's pretty close in the early stages, as you would expect. Just keep an eye on the splits as we go through this 1500, see if anyone can challenge that 18-minute mark. Fastest, just said Duncan, City of Glasgow swimmer Caris Mooney in 18:07. And it's a little bit of an improvement on each of the lengths here. Might see us edge towards that 18-minute mark. Of course, it's the one and only chance that these swimmers get to swim the 1500. There's no heats and finals like we have for the other events. The 800s and 1500s at these championships are heat declared winners, so they're not going to get another chance to swim this 1500, so it's all or nothing in this first event in the morning. As we go up to the 150 mark. 10% of the race gone at this stage.
Well, there you go, just 90% to go. India Marshall has certainly started well in lane 8, taking it to them, but now maybe just overtaken by Isabella Willard in lane 5. They swim out from Millfield. So 144.06 and 144.19. You can see there's intermediate splits there. So Isabella, the only one under 36 for that third 50. And these two just pulling away a little bit from third and fourth. Georgia Dickey, who's had a pretty good meet in lane 7 from Dumfries, and Caris Mooney from City of Glasgow in lane 4. But it is Isabella Willard now half a second up at the 200. 36 seconds exactly for her on that fourth 50. India Marshall half a second back now.
Was that Duncan about a 1:12-ish?
Yep, just over.
Yeah, it's a decent pace at the front of the field here for Willard, that green cap of Millfield. So, some good performances from the Millfield swimmers earlier, featured in the finals last night, a couple of their swimmers.
Yes, and historically, of course, they have been a fantastic program, and they continue to be. They won the National Arena Swimming League a couple of weeks ago, Millfield School, so they're on a high at the moment. That was down in Cardiff. And now they've made their way up to Edinburgh. Globe-trotting around the capitals of Britain.
Yeah, it'll be Belfast next, London. As Willard still maintains that 1:12 pace in 3:32.04. And India Marshall still in second. Georgia Dickey in third. It's a name we have become familiar with. And Georgia Dickey swam, I think, 3 times yesterday afternoon. Twice over in that lane 7 and lane 8 area, seem to remember, and once over on this side next to us in the commentary position. But it's always good when you when you're mentioning their name a lot. It means they're at the front of their heats.
Yes.
And it's good to see the progression of some of these swimmers improving on their entry times.
So another 36 clocked off. Isabella really swimming very consistently here, and you can see consistently faster than everybody else. They're really opening up that lead now. But if she can continue on these 36 zeros, and that's what coaches love to see, isn't it? Just that consistency over the distance event, and then maybe trying to wind it up maybe in the second half or later in the second half, depending on what your tactics are.
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably see a variety of tactics in this 1500. People will try and build through the 500. Some people might just try to go in the second half of the race. At the moment, it's looking pretty consistent stuff from Isabella Willard at the front of the field, and she is just stretching away from the rest of the field here. A good contest in the far side there, Georgia Dickey and Julia Marshall. Side by side here, and that looks like that's closing up slightly as they come into this 450 mark. So maybe 1/3 of the race gone as they hit the bottom end here.
Yep, so another 36.0 for Isabella, and you look at that, 36.85 for India, 36.85 for Georgia, so no change in the 2-second gap between them in that 50, but we'll keep an eye on that, because I think you're right. I think Georgia, perhaps over the longer distance, might well fancy her chances to get up with India. So as you said, this is 500 meters, 1,000 to go. Another 36.3, 5:56.76. This time, Georgia was about half a second faster than India in that 50. So you can see suddenly that gap has, well, more than halved, I would say. So it was 2 seconds last time there at the turn end. I suspect they're going to be almost together this time. Not quite. as Isabella goes through. Oh, under 36 that time. I think that's the fastest split we've seen her for her since the first 50.
Well, she's gone, what, 112 for each of the hundreds. How's your math starting?
Not very good. Not at this time on a Sunday morning.
Well, we got 112 for 500 metres. What's that, 5?
That's 12 minutes then for another
Yeah,
1,000 metres.
Oh, that was quick. Well done.
So that would be under 18 minutes
Under
if she
18
can do
minutes.
that, yeah.
This guy's tough to maintain that pace, but she's she looks like she's in a rhythm here. 36.04 again.
Yep.
Excellent stuff there.
Yep, she's just picked up a little bit in there. So that was under the 112 for the 100. And, it's against the 112.3, 112.4 she had been doing. So picking up half a second or so. If you can do that consistently, it all adds up. Meanwhile, we've got a new second place. Georgia has just gone past India. India might just be starting to regret that fast start she had, but remember, of course, these two on the outside lane, so on paper, the slowest swimmers in the pool. So they're both going really well, actually, to be up in second and third. So another 36.0. Clocked off.
It's quite a good contest going on further back down the field for the fourth position, currently held by Grace Campbell, and the fifth and sixth are alongside each other. Cara Gordon beginning to move through a little bit, and she's up alongside Caris Mooney. We'll see them coming down the pool as we see the leader going back up the pool. Isabella Woolard, another 36 seconds for her. And there's that contest for fourth, fifth and sixth as they go down towards the bottom end. But here at the top, India Marshall is not giving this away easily. She's fighting back, trying to get back on terms with Georgia Dickey there. But the leader looking good. We'll just have a check on the gap here, have a check on the splits for Isabella Woolard. 35.91. Again, just dipping under that 36-second mark. And let's see what the gap is when the second place swimmer goes through. Well, they go 11 seconds, 10 and a bit seconds. We'll just keep an eye on that. I think Georgia Dickey was kind of edging down towards the 36 mark, 36.89 on that previous heat, but it does mean that Isabella Woolard is still stretching away that lead, and it's a great shot, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is. You see the smoothness of the stroke, and very much a distance swimmer stroke there. 36.3 again. So it seems to be a 36.0 is going one way and 36.3 going the other way. One must be uphill.
We're looking at the breathing patterns of the 1500 swimmers the other night when we saw the 1500 finalists for the men on day one of this competition, how they kind of switched about. They were breathing to the right and then breathing to the left, going down the other way, almost to balance the stroke and maybe to monitor where the opposition were alongside them. But 36 again from Woolard, and still that close contest at the top there.
Yeah, interesting. Credit to India Marshall, because you thought possibly when Georgia went past her and was for a while she was pacing about a second a lap faster than India, that she would then pull away and that contest would be over, but not a bit of it. India is hanging in there, trying to stay on the toes of Georgia and succeeding so far. 900 meters then, 10:45.74. So you would think that 18 minutes, sorry, is very much on the cards here.
Well, she maintains that 112, be a good 1,000 metres the next turn at the bottom end, so be able to do that quick maths again, that's 6 minutes if she maintains that 112, so she's got to be under that 12 minutes when she hits that bottom end, or close to it, let's see.
Yeah, quite like the fact that she's doing 112s.
Yeah.
It makes the maths a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yes.
Well done, Isabella. Thanks thanks officially from the commentary box for your very consistent pacing on 36s. Well, still just a body length between Georgia and India. But the gap is definitely increasing. Just Isabella continuing to build her lead as we see her now coming into her 1,000-meter turn. 11:58.26. So still on pace to nick under the 18 minutes. Maybe the gap is starting to increase now between Georgia and India. We just didn't get India's split come up, but it's around 2.2, 2.3 now, the gap between Georgia and India.
Yeah, they're around about 12 or 13 seconds behind the leader. So if she's on course for an 18-minute swim, we're looking at somewhere around about the kind of 8:15 mark or so for Georgia Dickey, and slightly behind that for India Marshall. And their entry time's 18:20 and 18:28. So it's 3 good swims we're seeing at the front of the field here.
Yeah, Georgia did an 18:12 quite recently in Toll Cross, so I'm sure will be her target to try and get inside that. 400 to go. 13:10. .4 there. So just keep an eye on that. She doesn't want to be going into the high 36s if she possibly can. But she can get still around the 36 mark. As we see the other swimmers coming in. You saw just got a shot of that 4th place contest between Grace Campbell and Cara Gordon. As it really tests our camera crew and production crew when they're all spread out like this to try and get a sense of what's going on across the race. But you see them all coming through, so you can see that 2nd, 3rd place contest, and there's the 4th, 5th place contest. You see it's really tight between the Portobello swimmer in the black cap and the Sterling swimmer in the white cap, Grace and Cara.
We are, of course, have an affinity to Portobello after yesterday's delivery of Tablet to us.
I thought our producer told us not to talk about Tablet. But it had to come. 14:23.01. That was yesterday afternoon, if you were with us. We got very excited about some tablet that was being handed round. Fudge for our non-Scots.
I was going to say that, yeah. Those of you listening are thinking, what on earth are they talking about? Yeah, it's a Scottish delicacy.
Absolutely. More sugar than you can shake a stick at. So let's see what the split is at the...
Oh, very good.
35.9. She's been consistently slightly faster going up now, the pool, and coming back. And I think early on it was the other way around, from memory. So that's 12:50 that was, so 2:50 to go. So getting towards the climax of the heat now.
Yeah, 200 to go at bottom end here. Isabella Woolard has been incredibly consistent all the way through here. And she goes over in 36.49 again, just 36.5 seconds there. She's still very much on course to be under that 18-minute mark. If she does another couple of 112, she'll be bang on the 18 minutes. She will, well, traditionally I hope she will get a little bit of a boost when she hears the bell at the bottom end the next time round, and that'll hopefully propel her through to a time under that 18-minute mark. But it's been an incredible performance all the way through this 1500 on the 36s. I think every split probably within half a second of each other, so it's been a great swim. Georgia Dickey beginning to pull away now from India Marshall, but India Marshall is holding on. She's gone to the legs India Marshall in that outside lane. Georgia Dickey kicking a little bit hard, but no sign of Isabella Woolard using those legs to any great effect at the moment. She might do that in this last 100.
So she's coming up to the bell turn. 16:47.86, just nicking under the 36 again now. So under 112 gets her into the sub 18-minute territory. Surely she can get that done. Let's hope so. Come on, Isabella. Really push it. When we got that close-up of her a little while ago, you could see just those red face and just the work she's putting into it. Makes it look quite easy and straightforward, but there is a ton of work going on there. So 50 to go, 17:23.63, nice 35.7 that time. So that's a good fast penultimate 50. Now let's see if she can really knuckle down this last length. Let's see that stroke rate increase. Are we going to go to the legs? A little bit.
She's coming in last 25 now. It's a great swim, another great head-on shot. Really good technique all the way through this 1500 for Isabella Woolard into the closing stages now. The last 5, and she is going to be under the 18-minute mark. 17:58.45. What a great result there from Isabella Woolard. She will be delighted with that one. Swam that one pretty much on her own at the front of the field and claimed that sub 18-minute mark. Let's see what Georgia Dickey can do. And she get close to that 18:12 that she did, 18:17.83. So it's faster than the entry time. Not quite as fast as she did in Tollcross weeks ago. And India Marshall, 18:22. That's an improvement on her time of 18:28. So she swam well on that outside lane, India Marshall. She could have easily just buckled there as Georgia Dickey went past her, but she didn't, did she?
No, and look at that 4th, 5th place. That was so tight the whole way through the race, and in the end it was Grace Campbell by 0.2 of a second.
Cara Gordon came from quite a long way back, actually. Robert here in the commentary team was telling me about Cara Gordon. He does a lot of the open water swimming, and Cara Gordon, he said he always describes her as the West District Open Water champion.
There you go, that's a good accolade. So, confirmation of that result, Isabella Woolard, 17:58.45, taking the win from Georgia Dickey and India Marshall. Well, we're only halfway through these 1500s, another one coming up now.
Oh, warming up nicely.
Yep, it certainly is now. Let's have a look across, and it looks like again we're missing a swimmer. I think it's lane 6 is not there, so again we're going to have 7 competing in this one. Katie Noble will go for Newcastle in lane 1, Izzy Jobson of Loughborough University in 2, Johanna Enkner of Ober-Oster in 3, Harriet Oxley of Repton in 4, Isla Ince of Millfield in 5, Mari Craig of Edinburgh University in 7, Hannah Hodgkiss from Repton in lane 8. So the entry times here, 17:19 up to 17:53. So this should be faster than the first heat. And it is a lane 5, Isla Ince, 14-year-old, so a real youngster.
Ooh.
Doing this 1500.
Millfield again?
Yep.
Front of the field?
31.54 for Isla. Hannah Hodgkiss, Johanna Enkner, 2nd and 3rd, but early days, very early days, as the 7 swimmers come down the 2nd length. Not too much separating any of them. Now maybe Johanna Enkner, the Austrian, perhaps just starting to make a bit of a move. She is the Austrian 1500-metre champion.
She had a good swim yesterday in the 800. Again, she didn't feature in the fastest heat. She just missed out on a place in that fastest heat yesterday, but she swam in the 2nd fastest heat in the morning, and I think she won that by a fair margin. So I think she's in decent form in this distance freestyle. And she's hit the front here 106 for the first 100. We'll just keep an eye on that. Hoping she's going to be repping in a time that'll let us calculate it as easy as we did the last one. But probably not. It's going to be a little bit faster this heat. The heat's progressing in speed as we go through all the way this morning.
Yeah, so you can see 34.8 there for Johanna against those 36s that we were seeing from Isabella in the first heat.
110 for each 100 would be okay. Cope with that maybe. And Clark into the wall here, 2:15.52.
So that was about 69.5 for her second 100. You see pacing 34.5, Izzy Jobson 34.9, and the others in 35s. Izzy Jobson, Loughborough University. She was 5th in the British Summer Championships in Sheffield last year, where she did her entry time, 17:28. 20-year-old Johanna, one of the most experienced of these athletes, 23-year-old this year.
And you were saying yesterday, Duncan, that it's good to see this kind of level of entry in the 1500 for the women's events, because previously there might have just been maybe one heat in some of the international events we've seen.
Yes, of course, it's more and more established, I think, now as an important event in the women's swimming program. You know, it's not that long ago that it wasn't in the Olympics, and it is now. And suddenly, of course, that means that people have to pick up and take notice and say, well, what are my chances if I'm naturally a distance swimmer? Can I really do something special in the pool? And of course, also for some of them, it's a route into the open water program as well. So if you do the 1500s in the pool and then move on to the open water, and we have seen people, I think in Tokyo, medaling in both the 1500 and open water.
Yeah, and the likes of David Davis, who did the same for the GB team a few years ago.
And I'm thinking Pellegrini, the Italian, the great Italian, was doing that sort of thing.
Although some it doesn't suit that have tried to make the switch, because it's a little bit of a different discipline, a little bit more of a, what would you say, a contact sport, open water.
Yes. Water polo meets distance swimming in the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you get the referee in the boat dishing out cards.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So Enkner is just going away from most of the field, with the exception of Izzy Jobson, who has stuck to the legs of Johanna Enkner. Once they go over at 4:50, they'll be in 500 metres, a third of the race gone as they hit this bottom end. And Izzy Jobson, there you see the splits. 35.25 for Johanna Enkner, 34.98 for Izzy Jobson.
Yeah,
So
be worth keeping an eye on that one. If she can take a couple of tenths off Enkner's lead each lap, then it won't be too long before she's up alongside her. But let's see on this one whether she is still going faster. So at 500, as you said, Paul, 35.0 for Johanna, 34.7 for Izzy. So that is another quarter of a second taken out of that lead. This could get very interesting indeed.
Well, it's good to have the splits there appearing on the screen and holding on the screen for a little while. We can see it on the scoreboard as well, and here in the venue. It's interesting to monitor that as we go along this 1500. So we're into the second third now. Enkner and Jobson 35.1 for Jobson. She is closing by 0.3 of a second. It's difficult to tell really with the naked eye, isn't it? But she certainly is not pulling away. We'll just have a look as they go kind of past us in the commentary position. And just coming up to us now. We're round about in the flags at the finish end. And she's probably just about on the feet. Izzy Jobson of Johanna Enkner. And again, it's a very slight difference in times there. Izzy Jobson sticking to the task here and closing on the long-time leader here, Johanna Enkner, as they go through the 600 mark. Mari Craig in third position, just ahead of Harry Oxley, who is in fourth place. There's a difference of around about 4 seconds between these two. So Mari Craig right on the top of your picture there. All these races, of course, lane 1 is at the right-hand side of the picture. Lane 8 right at the top of the pool as we watch these races go on. And again, half a second that time, Duncan.
Yes, so Izzy Jobson is clearly feeling good here and fancying her chances. And I'm just looking at Mari Craig's splits. I mean, she is going very nicely up there in lane 7, Edinburgh University swimmer. So, of course, she'll do training in this pool as well as a very nice short course facility that the university had just down the road. But here we are then, going through 700 metres. And there is, 8 hundredths now just between them. They are, just to give you a reference, about 14 seconds faster than Isabella Willard was at the same point. So we're looking at, I would think, something in the 1730s maybe. Johanna entered 1724 and Izzy 1728, so I suspect they're probably pacing maybe somewhere in between those two times. That would be my guess. Haven't tried to do the maths.
I'm sure you won't be far away. Okay.
So that was halfway, that last turn, so keep an eye on that. 8:41 with, for the first time, Izzy in the lead.
Yeah, so you're talking about if you double that, you are talking about something like 17:20-ish. Maybe just add a little bit for that first length was a little bit faster. So
now, if you're Johanna Enkner at this point in the race, you are aware that you had a reasonable lead. That lead's gone. You're now stroke for stroke pretty much. What's the plan from here?
Well, you've just got to try and maintain, not let the swimmer next to you get away from you. It might give her a little bit of a boost, really, and it looks like it has done, because the splits have kind of increased from Johanna Enkner. They've got a little bit faster. She's maintaining the pace with Izzy Jobson now. I think it's probably probably kind of spurred her into action a little bit, the Austrian swimmer. She's maybe coasting along a little bit, and she's been forced to maybe up the pace to try and stay with Izzy Jobson. Of course, it might be a dangerous game if you're sucked into someone else's race, but she's capable of going that kind of speed, as we've seen from the entry time. So it might do a little bit of good to be under pressure there from Izzy Jobson.
Yes, you don't get to be your country's champion without having the skill and the ability, and also, with a race plan to suit. So is she back in the lead? I think she might be, just. And certainly this is going to get very, very interesting, and it becomes a bit of a mind game as well as a physical game at this point, doesn't it?
It does. It's a real battle, real head-to-head battle between these two. Izzy Jobson seems better off the wall. It's a little bit of an advantage as she comes off the wall. Maybe it's just the angle that we're looking at that from, but she seems to be better off the wall than the Austrian. And it is absolutely head-to-head. Look at that, they're almost in sync there. Enkner doesn't want to fall behind as he drops in, breathing towards her, both breathing towards each other there. Eyeball to eyeball, the two of them.
Yeah, 3/10 in it. 34.88 and 34.88. You gotta love it, haven't you? You gotta love a good competitive 1500 freestyle. And that's what these two ladies are serving up for us on this Sunday morning. It's a privilege to watch them. You see them coming in.
Yeah, it's stroke for stroke as they go in. Just watch as he jumps and see if she gets a kind of an advantage off the wall. I think she does. Again, difficult to tell, but I think she is maybe using that kind of power off the wall to get a little bit of a distance between her and Enkner. Enkner's got to play catch up in every length, so she's maybe, her swim speed is maybe a little bit quicker than Izzy Jobson, but the skills of Jobson off those turns are earning her a little bit of an advantage there as they come down to the 1,000 and 100 metre mark. And it is 12:47.30 and 12:47.60. Enkner just with that very slender faster time there from Izzy Jobson. So it's 34.88 previous time they hit the bottom. It's 34.90 that time. So that's consistency for you. We saw a couple of dead heats in the 800 yesterday, so I wonder if we're going to be in for something like that today.
You never know.
I did see once a 1500. It was a men's 1500 that was just like this all the way through. They stretched away from the field, and in the end it ended up as a dead heat, which was I think deserving. Both of them deserved it after the swim that they did that time. I wonder if we're going to be in for the similar thing today. Not much between these two at all. We see Jobson. Has she got the advantage? Has Enkner got something there? Breathing towards each other as they come down to this 1200 mark. So nothing in it.
Yeah, so 400 to go. You'd be thinking, right, well, 300 to go rather, excuse me. When do they decide, right, now is my time? I've got to start making a move. Or do they say, well, I went into the race with this plan to go at this pace and then to push on at this point, and do you stick with that, or do you do it on the hoof because of what's going on around beside you?
Well, that's a decision they're going to have to make. Izzy Jobson there has gone a little bit to the legs. Enkner really looked very, very balanced there, really not using the legs at all, apart from just slightly off the turns, but they almost dragging the legs, the Austrian. I wonder if we'll see that. She's beginning to just build it up very slightly. Jobson with that stronger kick, 1/100 separating them there at that turn. And, well, who is going to take this one? Looking back down the pool for third place, Mari Craig still clear in third position. In fourth place, Harry Oxley. Fifth place, Hannah Hodgkiss. But at the front of the field, look at that, absolutely together. 16/100 separating them. Jobson still with the lead.
Yeah, and that was exactly a 110 split for that last 100. So two more of those would be 17:27 and allow for a bit of a sprint. Izzy entered 17:28, Johanna 17:24, so they could get down to 17:24 territory if they really do wind it up in these 3 lengths that are left for us. Was it Enkner? No, it's not. It's still Jobson at the 150. 35.42, 35.41. Surely someone's got to make a move at some point here.
I think they're going to settle for a last 100 sprint out here, I think.
Or even the last 50, maybe.
Maybe, well, I'm not sure. I think we might see someone go at this turn. We'll see.
I guess it's, do you fancy your skills with a sprint at the end of, or do you have to take that sprint out of the equation from the other swimmers? Because they probably won't know each other at all, the Austrian and the English swimmer. So, you know, what is the tactic here with 200 separating them going into that last 100?
Yeah, Enkner, I think, has just begun to wind it up a little bit now. It's Jobson has to try and respond to the Austrian power there. She just upped the arm stroke there as she went. She hasn't really gone to the legs too much there, but it does look like the Austrians got the advantage now. Wonder what Izzy Jobson has got left in the tank as they go over this final turn.
Yep, so 34.1 against a 34.6, a half a second advantage, and it does look like Enkner does have that back end speed here. Look at her go now, and I'm not sure Jobson has an answer to this. Enkner really, well, started to push it in the penultimate 50, but really hammering it down now, and she is going full tilt here into the final 5 meters. So this has been an excellent race all the way through, but in the end it was Johanna Enkner just had that back end speed to take the win by about 2.7. 17.24.19 for her, 17.26.93 for Izzy Jobson. Both of them, in fact, inside their entry times by a few tenths, so that's excellent stuff from the two swimmers who put on a real show, and now they can compare notes as they hang on to the lane rope and see the others come in.
Murray Craig is in already in 17.48.36 there in lane number 7, and Harry Oxley is the field kind of all got a little bit spread out there. 18.03.81 just shows you how good that first swim was from Isabella Woolard in that first heat under the 18-minute mark. There's only 3 under the 18-minute mark in the second heat.
Yeah, interesting. That last 100 for Johanna Enkner was a 65.5, and she'd be, you remember, she'd been going at 110, 70 seconds, so 5 seconds faster in that last 100 meters. To just see that real power at the end there, that was impressive to see at the back end of a 1500.
Yeah, we've seen her swim the distance freestylers, the distance freestyle events, 1500 now, the 800 yesterday. I'm sure we saw her in the shorter distances as well over the course of these championships. Talking about shorter distances, here we go, 50 breaststroke. Some big names going to be seeing in this 50 breaststroke just in a short time, Duncan.
Yep, but the 4 swimmers going in this first heat, and they are Andrew Feenan from Limerick in 3, Matthew Garrity of City of Glasgow in 4, his teammate Robson Miles in lane 5, and in the red cap there in lane 6, Connor Mitchell from Warrender. So these swimmers all entered just over the 30 seconds, so I guess for these swimmers they'd love to have their finish time starting with a 2. Let's see if any of them can break through 30 seconds. Range of ages, Andrew Feenan, most experienced of these swimmers, the Irishman, did his time here last year, in fact, 30.6. So let's see if he can move on year to year. So coming down then from the dive, it looked like maybe the Glaswegian in lane 5, Robson Miles, perhaps just had the early advantage, but well, there's very little to choose between all 4 of them, and now his teammate Matthew Garrett is starting to make a move. So the 2 Glaswegians going well. Connor Mitchell in the red cap pushing on as well. As we come down, it's going to be really tight between Glasgow and Edinburgh. Who's going to get the touch here? It's between Connor and Matthew, and the touch goes to Matthew Garrity. Really, really tight there. 30.92 and 30.93. Well, I'm sure they would like to have got under the 30 seconds, but that's not for today. But it was all about racing in the end there, just getting to that wall first.
Yeah, 1/100 separating these two. Don Bissett goes in 1 in the second of the 6 heats. Liam Davis, Edinburgh University, in 2. Murray Pritchard from Persidy in 3, Marius Kringelis, Edinburgh University in 4, Mika van Bleur, Warren de Bath in 5, Max Vass from City of Stoke in 6, Sam Williamson and Ollie Kettle, both University of Bath, they go in 7 and in 8. In fact, there's no one in 2, so no Liam Davis from Edinburgh University, but the others are there. And a very good start from Ollie Kettle over there in lane number 8. Another name that we've been recognising, swimming some good times already at these championships. Ollie Kettle, he's going to lead them home. Entry time of 30.10. Is he going to get under that 30-second mark? I think he is. 29.68. Great swim from Ollie Kettle from the outside lane. The only one under the 30-second mark, and he really went out for that. And he got his rewards with that 29.68 time. Great swim for half a second inside his entry time.
Yep, good stuff from Ollie there. And there's your lineup for number 3 as we look across. It looks like they're all there. So the lineup here, Thomas Hamilton in 1 from Birmingham University, Leo Gruart, Ligue Auvergne in 2, then a trio of Stirling University swimmers, Andrew Arthur, Sam Pease, William Ellington, Brian Long, Chelsea and Westminster in 6, Nikolai Kotoriansky of Nova Centurion in 7, and Joshua Mitchell from Edinburgh University at 8, and it's Brian Long of Chelsea and Westminster, entry time 29.6, and he is pushing this one on really well in lane 6. So we saw a 29.68 just now from Oliver Kettle, but this is going to be faster. Look at that, 28.87. He'll be happy with that. Entered 29.6, take that down to 28.87. That is a big improvement. And look at that, nearly a second clear of second place Sam Pease, and that was a pretty good time from Sam as well.
Yeah, of course, the top 8 are going to make it into the A final. Next 8 are going to make it into the B final and the junior final as well. So that time, let's give them a good chance here. But the fastest 3 heats are coming now, and we have Josh Press, Alex Meyer, Bram Svetslut, James Wilby, Owen Corby, Ivo Cruz, Dermot Sutton and Charlie Trotman. James Wilby, winner of the 200 breaststroke here. Also just pipped for the 100 breaststroke by Adam Peaty last night. He goes in lane number 4, the bottom of those 2 yellow marked lanes. Next to him, Bram Svetslut, the finalist as well last night in the 100. And it is these 2, I think, will be maybe just forging through at the end in lane 4. And Wilby takes it. Ivo Cruz, in fact, in second place. Again, we saw him win a medal in the 200 on day 1. In fact, it's a tie for the 2 Netherlands swimmers. Look at that, 28.65. 4 100s behind James Wilby. That was a tight contest there, but Wilby takes it.
That was an amazing start from Bram Svetslut, wasn't it? And really was so quick off the blocks there, and that gave him a good position with that tie for second as we go to heat number 5. Line up here, Rafe Dobson, Stirling University, Eugene Cook of Ireland, Marcos Iacovidis of the University of Bath, Bernhard Reichhammer, who's in lane 4, Archie Goodburn at University, Ross Young, his teammate Yanis Dutel in 7, and Bruno Kempster in 8. And it is Bernhard who has been giving the British breaststrokers a good run for their money, the Austrian world champion, 4th place in this event, and he comes in 27.52. So that's not shabby at all. So he is just reminding the British breaststrokers that he is around there. Archie Goodburn, nice swim from him, the local swimmer, 27.88, with the Cypriot Marcos Iacovidis taking 3rd, 27.52 then. What's going to happen in this one?
Yeah, a couple of tasty times there in that 5th heat. 6th heat, Yusuf Batout, Rory Dixon, Dara Green, Adam Peaty, Greg Butler, Sam Neal, Charles Grondell, Luca Janssen. Adam Peaty, of course, double Olympic champion in the 100 breaststroke. He's a Commonwealth champion in this 50 breaststroke. And he won that title in Birmingham last year. And that red cap, Adam Peaty, trying to get ahead of the field, trying to challenge that time. Bernhard Reichhammer, who really challenged him in the 100 last night, as did James Wilby. But Peaty is at the front of this field. We'll keep an eye on the clock. and it is 28.09 for PT. That should see him safely into the top 8 for the final. Dara Green in second with Greg Butler in third position. It was close for second and third, but as the race progressed, PT showed his strength and he takes that one, and he will qualify in third position. But the two on the 27 mark, Wrightshammer looked good, as did Goodburn.
Yeah, I think Archie Goodburn would be pretty pleased to be qualifying second fastest for that one. And they can see the swimmers potentially in the B final. And then we'll be looking at the juniors. Of course, there'll be more 50 breaststroke this afternoon to look forward to. So it gives the swimmers there a chance to get an evening swim. But we stay with sprints and move to the women, and it's 50 butterfly up next. Again, we'll have 6 heats here as we just scroll through the remaining swims there.
Yeah, it should be another cracking final tonight. Adam Peaty, of course, just winning that close contest in the 100 breaststroke, of course, building up towards that World Championship trials in a month's time. Adam Peaty and James Willoughby. It's going to be a cracking final tonight, really fast. Here's the 50 butterfly, first heat. 5 swimmers in this one. Kiana Kurtzer, Vicky Russell, Ariana Stokes, Becky Watson and Aja Cole. Close to us, Kiana Kurtzer, youngest in this field. She's 15 years of age this year. That red cap of Warrender. Next to the 23-year-old Vicky Russell and 3 17-year-olds in 4, 5 and 6, Stokes, Watson and Cole. Now, the winner from this one, maybe lane number 5, possibly Becky Watson. Vicky Russell going well in 3. I think Watson might have it though. She does in 28.89. And that is pretty much bang on her entry time, just 7/100 shy of that one. Vicky Russell in second, Ariana Stokes in third place.
So that sets the early marker as we see there the lineup for heat number 2. Annabelle Chan, Abigail Stemp, Lottie Van Howert, Clementine Lovell, Jade Blake, Nicole Ritchie, Stella McCarty, Alice Mackey. Entry times here 28.4 to 28.6. So 28.8, the time to beat from the first heat. Nice start in lane 4 from Clementine Lovell. And she has got the edge here, but nearly a metre or so perhaps from the others. We're trying to get back on terms, but it does look like Clementine is the favourite for this one. She finalled up here in December at the Scottish National Short Course Championships, and she'll be putting in her bid there for another swim tonight, 28.01. She'll be pretty happy with that time, I would think. Entered 28.45, so good for 44 hundredths. Knocked off that.
Heat 3 on the way now. Ellie Robertson goes in lane number 1 for South Ayrshire. Katerina Price, University of Bath in 2. Helen Stoddart, East Lothian in 3. Simona Kubova from the Czech Republic has been in great form. Seen her in the breaststroke event. Matilda Moeller, Hovenstadens in 5. Kara Schlossen from Edinburgh in 6. Nicole Dupree from Millfield in 7. And Sophie de Groot from Loughborough University in lane number 8. Kubova has been pretty quick in terms of the sprint events that we've seen her. But what about this start in lane number 1? Hayley Robertson going really well, closest to us. I wonder if she is going to take this one from lane number 1. Also going well right up there in 6. And it is Kira Schlossen who just takes that one. Danger all over the pool there. Duncan had to have eyes everywhere on that one. Schlossen, Kubova and Robertson.
That's another nice swim from Kira Schlossen. It's another swimmer we've seen some really good swims from this weekend. Second year at Edinburgh University, entered 28.24 and that down to a 27.71. So good stuff here as we go into the 3 cycle seeded heats. And we've got in this one Maisie Elliott, Elise Tannis, Yasmin Perry, Louise Hansen, who set the meet record yesterday in the 100. Kiana McInnes, Lily Rose Buffalo, and Pullman's Cora Rooney. 26.5, Louise Hansen's time for the outstanding Swedish swimmer, 5th in this event in the European Championships. A look at that lead that she's got, really just from the pull out from the dive, such power in that part of the race, and then bringing it home and really motoring down to the wall in 26.42. Just a quarter of a second or so away from the meet record, so we'll maybe just keep an eye on that this evening. She's certainly setting the mark out there. Lily Rose Buffalo taking 2nd place. That was good stuff from Louise.
Looked very impressive, Louise Hansen there. And see her set that record yesterday. She's the defending champion in this one, I think. She won that last year. Is she going to do the double? Well, heat 5 on the way. Drew McKenzie, Harriet Rogers, Lucy Grieve, Kim Bush, Georgina Pryor, Kira Toussaint, Elena Morgan and Belle Smith are the swimmers for heat number 5. Kim Bush has been strong in the sprint events. We saw her in the skins. Can she get away fast here? Looks like she is in lane number 4. Entry time of 26.17. And again, we're seeing another impressive swim here from lane number 4. Kim Bush is head down into the wall. Can she spot this one correctly? A little bit of a glide, but not too much. 26.51. She takes that one ahead of Lucy Grieve, another swimmer who has had some good swims in the last couple of weeks. Lucy Grieve had a good Bucks Championships, and she's had a good last couple of days here.
Yeah, she was very good in the 100 fly yesterday, getting towards the Scottish record that Sian, well, in this one, the 50, it's Sian Harkin, I think it's Tame Bruce in the 100. But one more heat to go, and the lineup here: Holly Hibbert, Kira Morris, Jessica Calderbank, Ruth van Otterdijk, Ellen Walsh, Imogen Clark, Laura Stevens, Sam van Noonen. Well, the swimmers here who have really excelled in this meet. Imogen Clark with that breaststroke meet record yesterday. Ellen Walsh, who has been absolutely flying. Ruth van Otterdijk as well. And this is much closer than the other two cycle-seated heats. It looks like maybe it's the two, well, lane 7 perhaps. Laura Stevens, the winner in the 200 fly. She set that meet record in that, and showing that she's got some back-end speed as well. Some sprint speed there, 27.19. Not quite as fast as the previous 2 heats, but just enough to take it from Ruth van Otterdijk. 27.19, 27.22. Ellen Walsh, you think, be there. And so there is the top 8. Louise Hansen heads them. Kim Bush, Laura Stevens, the top 3. Kiana McInnes just sneaking in there. And Jessica Calderbank will be leading the B final. There's Imogen and Kira there. Yasmin Perry just edging into that. Look how tight it is. Very, very tight indeed. And these are the swimmers just outside, but you never know, with withdrawals they could get themselves another swim.
No swim-offs as yet that we've spotted.
I can sense the disappointment.
Laura Stevens has been great this year so far. Some excellent swims. She set the Bucks championship records a couple of weeks ago. She set a championship record here on that 200 butterfly on day 1 of competition, and she's got a bit of speed, as we just saw.
Yeah, she really has come to the fore, I suppose, since lockdown. Really, it was when she qualified for Tokyo. She came up to Glasgow, in fact. I commentated on her in that meet, and she was really impressive and did a huge PB to get the qualification time, and then did really nicely in Tokyo, and has firmly established herself now, I think, as the certainly leading 200 butterfly swimmer in Britain.
Yeah, silver medalist in Commonwealth Games in that 200 fly as well. So, yeah, certainly one to watch. Laura Stevens.
100 freestyle now for the men, and you can see their lineup for the first heat. And Louis Picoche, for Ligue 1 in 1, Charlie Poole, Stirling University in 2, no swimmer in 3 or 6. 4 is Dean Ahmed of Birmingham University, Henry Baker in 5 for Stirling University, Rory McKinnon, City of Glasgow in 7, and Evan Jones, Stirling University in 8. Evan had a terrific 400 IM yesterday. But, he is leading at halfway, part of the Scottish relay teams in Birmingham, including the bronze in the 4x2. And he is showing the speed he's got here. Bit of a surprise perhaps to see him in the outside lane here. 51.54 is entry time. Is he going to get, well, close to the 50.92, so over half a second inside his entry time. And shaking off the cobwebs with a good, strong morning swim there. Henry Baker taking second from Dean Ahmed.
Oh, good first heat there from Evan Jones, straight into the cyclically seeded heat. So we've got some of the big guns here going in second heat. Ben Blowers from Loughborough University in 1, Callum Bain from Dublin in 2, Francisco Arevalo Rubio in lane number 3, Duncan Scott goes in lane number 4 for Stirling University, Ed Mildred, University of Bath in 5, Oliver Sogard Anderson, Hovenstadens in 6, David Cumberledge from Edinburgh University in 7, and Moritz Dietrich, the Austrian, in lane number 8. Well, what a good start in lane number 2. Callum Bain obviously going for a 50 time there. He stops at that 50 mark, 22.80. He's left the others to contest this 100. Arevalo Rubio, Cumberledge, Mildred, Scott right in the mix here. Scott had a couple of good swims, good swim in the medley on day 1. Just again, another swim building up towards those trials events and coming through, showing his strength in the closing stages here. Lovely second 50 from Duncan Scott there to take that win in 50.30. He was well down the field at the turn, but he was able to pull that through, showing his strength to take that one in 50.30 ahead of Arval Rubio and Mildred.
That was a bit like a practice drill, you think, there, because he looked so easy down that first length and then turning it on, so really just testing out his back end speed there. So interesting race tactic there. Line up for heat number 3. Just looking down the lineup, I think they're all there. Bruno Kempster at Edinburgh University in 1, teammate the Welshman Thomas Carswell in 2, Thomas Piron of Ligue 1 in 3, Jacob Whittle of Loughborough in 4, Andres Vozeas of Greece in 5, Joe Litchfield from Loughborough in 6, Martin Katavi of Israel in 7, and Stan Franks from Thames Liège in lane 8. So coming up to the wall then, and it's lanes 3, 4 and 6, all pretty close. Piron, Whittle and Litchfield. Piron getting the touch, 23.90, a little bit faster than the previous heat if you ignore the Callum Blaine split. So all to play for though down this second length, and it's going to be pretty hard fought for, if you think, to get one of those top 8 spots for the open final. But it's coming through now is Jacob Whittle, the 19-year-old from Loughborough. He gets under the 50, 49.87, so with 1 heat to go, he is the fastest. 50.06 for Piron, 50.62 for Vozeas. So Duncan Scott there, 50.3, currently now sitting in 3rd place. He should be okay to get in the top 8, you would think, based on that. 49.87.
There's a few in the 50-second mark, so you're probably going to have to be in almost the low 50s to try and make it into that top 8. One more heat to come. Evan Bailey from Limerick in 1, Cesar Castro-Valley from Spain in 2, Jimmy Ingram, City of Manchester Aquatics in 3, Tom Dean, University of Bath goes in lane number 4, Sean Newell, Netherlands goes in 5. Alex Cahoon from Loughborough University in 6. George Snow in 7 from Millfield, and Finn McGeever from Limerick out there in lane number 8. Well, Tom Dean had an excellent 200 freestyle on day 1 of this competition. Had a very good swim in the skins and the 50 freestyle to take that skins title ahead of Alex Cahoon, who leads through that first 50. Alex Cahoon, the Loughborough swimmer, he did the Bucks double a couple of weeks ago. And him and Tom Dean in lane number 4. And the swimmer in the middle of them, Sean Newald from the Netherlands, all coming home together. Also going well is Jamie Ingram. It's going to be a very tight finish here. Castro Valley also in the top 5. But Tom Dean reaches for that one, 49.77. So just 2 under the 50-second mark. But Tom Dean looked good there at the front of the field. Newald coming through strongly at the end. 1/100 separating Cahoon and Ingram. I wonder if that's going to be vital with that Castro Valley in 3rd position. So 5 on the 52nd mark. Oh.
Joint 7, 50-55. Let's see what 9th was. 50-62 Visayas then, just missing out on the open final along with Mildred and Litchfield. So it's going to be tasty. Both the B and the open final are going to be very tasty indeed. But the Commonwealth silver medalist, Tom Dean, 49.77, will have lane 4. And you probably wouldn't bet money against him taking that and doing the 100-200 double.
100-200 double, and add that to the 50-metre skins that he won as well. He can claim a treble. Even though he didn't win the 50-metre sprint final. He took the skins title. Almost survival of the fittest in that skins we were talking about earlier. And Tom Dean is certainly one of the fittest around, that's for sure.
So on now to women's 200 backstroke. This is the first of 5 heats. 4 swimmers going here. But Megan Donovan of City of Peterborough is in lane 3. Matilda Moeller of Hoverstatons in 4. Cora Rooney of Ireland in 5. And Jemima Hall from the University of Bath in lane 6. Good strong start from Jemima. Lane 6 has looked to be strongest off the wall. She gave herself about a half a metre advantage over Cora Rooney. So a Danish swimmer, an Irish swimmer. Megan Donovan is a Scot based in Peterborough, and Jemima Hall, an English swimmer. So 4 nations involved here. Jemima 32.60 leads by a second, and she's looking pretty strong here, isn't she, in lane number 6?
Yeah, it certainly is. University of Bath swimmer, and looking pretty comfortable in the early stages here. Just in this field, 22 years of age, and the 2 16-year-olds in this one, Megan Donovan, Matilda Muller, and an 18-year-old Cora Rooney from Ireland. The Irish team had some good performances here, some good individual performances from the Irish swimmers, and of course building up to their World Championship team. And I think, Duncan, I'm right in saying that some of the countries can use this meet as a qualifying meet. I mean, the GB team haven't chosen to do that. They've got their one and only trials in Sheffield in around about a month's time, but other countries can use times from this competition as qualifying marks for their World Championship team. And we've seen some of the swimmers really going for that. Netherlands swimmers, Thomas Janssen, for example. We've seen some of the Irish swimmers swim very fast. I just wonder if they're using this as a benchmark time for their World Championship team. I wonder if it's in the window.
Yes, so you certainly have to get approval from World Aquatics to that they are confident that the meet is of a sufficient standard, and certainly Edinburgh International has no problems reaching that bar. So let's see. Jemima Hall coming in to 19.64, over a second inside her entry time. So well done to Jemima. Second, Cora Rooney, 2.23 for her, and 2.30 for Matilda. So the first heat in the book, Jemima then taking it by about 3.5 seconds, 2:19.64.
Yeah, under the entry time there, the only one under 2:20. This next heat, the 8 swimmers in this one all have entry times under that 2:20 mark. There is the lineup: Heidi Wren from City of Glasgow, Holly Robinson from Repton. I've seen her swim breaststroke and individual medley events already in the last couple of days. Natasha Whittle from Loughborough University in 3. Kiana Kurtzer from Warren Baths in lane number 4. Amy Shields from City of Glasgow in 5. Isabel Woolard back in the water again. She goes in lane 6. Caroline Jensen from Hovenstatens in 7, and Ellie Turner goes in 8 for Stirling University. So Isabella Woolard, we saw her in the very first event this morning, 1500 freestyle. She's back in again for the 200 backstroke. Quite a double for Isabella Woolard. Not quite as bad as some of the schedules that people had yesterday afternoon. Was it 800 freestyle, 400 IM, 200 butterfly, all within the space of about an hour?
Yeah, at least she had that second heat of 1500. The rest of it would have been a bit of a nightmare for her if she'd been in that second heat, I think. But let's see how she is able to bounce back for this one. Natasha Whittle is the one who is setting off at pace 32.62, pretty much the same split as the first heat. Heidi Wren in second, Kiana Kurtzer in third. But Natasha is certainly the one who's made the early impact. The Loughborough swimmer, finalist in the British Summer Championships, finalist up here short course in December. It's nice to see Loughborough back in Edinburgh. Just a couple of months or so, 2.5 months since they were here last time. 1:07.34, still very much on a par with the previous heat, and a lead of now best part of 3 seconds of Holly Robinson, Heidi Wren. Amy Shields just behind them, and Kiana Kurtzer.
Kiana Kurtzer, the youngest in this field, Duncan, just 15 years of age this year. A bit of a prospect, been close to age group records, I think, in some of her events in Scotland.
I think 200 back, I think, is her best event as well. So we'll see whether she can come through, move into second. Nobody's going to catch Natasha Whittle, 1:43.21, now 3/10 faster than the previous heat. Holly Robinson, 3/10 clear of Heidi Wren in second place, but Kiana Kurtzer in the red cap, maybe just edging up in that 5-way contest for second, behind the clear leader, Natasha Whittle. So she is going to bring this one in. So Natasha's entry time 2:19, which was the time she did last summer in Sheffield. Let's see, very close to it, 2:19.77. Maybe just faded a bit down that last 50. But Kiana Kurtzer did come through to take second, 2:23.09, and Holly Robinson, 2:23.73 in third. And a shout out to Ellie Turner there, the University of Stirling swimmer. This is her last competitive race in her career. She's announced that she's going to retire after today, so we wish Ellie Turner all the very best with whatever's coming to her way in the coming years. She's been certainly a presence around this part of Scotland for really since she was a youngster. So
absolutely, yeah. She's been a real fixture in the, Carnegie originally. And she's been around about the East District events for a number of years now. What's she, 20 years of age this year? Yeah, it must be about a decade that Ellie Turner's been right at the top. So that's a shame, Duncan. I wasn't aware of that, but wish her all the best in her future endeavours. She has been a real star for the clubs she has represented over the last decade or so.
So on to heat 3. The line-up here. We have Molly Garrett going for City of Manchester in 1, Holly Marshall of Repton in lane 2, Jasmine Eiley, University of Bath in 3, Sophie Shaw, City of Manchester in 4, Lauren Bradley Holt of Stirling University in 5, Lucy Hitchin of Repton in 6, and Falca Tind, Hoverstatens in 7, no swimmer in lane 8. So Sophie Shaw taking it out here, bronze medalist recently at British universities. And she is through the 50 in 32.08, about half a second faster than the previous 2 heats. Jasmine Eiley in 2nd, Lauren Bradley Holt in 3rd. But it certainly seems to be a bit of a feature here that we've got one swimmer just pulling away from the others, and then a pretty competitive 2nd place race. This time it is Sophie Shaw who is leading them out, the 21-year-old this year from City of Manchester. Let's see what her halfway split is. 1:05.99, now about a second and a half faster than anything we've seen.
Yeah, Sophie Shaw had a good contest with Honey Osra, I think it was, in the Bucks Championships just a couple of weeks ago. And, featured in the mix for a number of the backstroke medals. Sophie Shaw, Katie Shanahan, of course, taking that Bucks title 2 weeks ago in a Bucks record. So she was quite a dominant swim there, but it was pretty close in terms of times for Sophie Shaw and Honey Osrin. They swam that event a couple of weeks ago in Sheffield. And Sophie Shaw looking good here, 1:40.71. with just 50 metres to go, and it is a very close contest for 2nd between lanes 3 and 6. Jasmine Eiley and Lucy Hitchin just separated by a couple of tenths of a second. Sophie Shaw looking pretty comfortable here. Nice steady head position as the camera moves in there. That's what you like to see in his backstroke technique as he reaches for the wall in 2:16.21. And comfortable win there by exactly 2 seconds from Lucy Hitchin. Finishes in 2nd, Jasmine Eiley under the 2:20 mark in 3rd position. You would think, 2 heats to go, that those 3 may get another swim, whether it be in the A or the B final, but you never know. 2 fast heats to come, and there's the lineup for heat number 4. Kate Morris from Nova Centurion goes in lane number 1. Ingeborg Loining goes in lane number 2. Anne Podevin from League Auvergne goes in 3. Anastasia Gorbenko, is we going to see her? Don't think we are. No swimmer in lane 4. Lottie Hosper from Netherlands in lane 5. Anna Green from Warrender in 6. Ellis Shields, Edinburgh University in 7. And Charlotte Prince Reina in lane number 8. Didn't see Anastasia Gorbenko yesterday either, but she had a great day 1, didn't she, Duncan? The Israeli star.
Yes, I hope she didn't pick up an injury or anything. That means that she's not here, but a little bit worrying to see her absent today and yesterday. So all the best to Anastasia if she is struggling with something. Well, that's not anything important. Lottie Hosper, the Dutch swimmer, taking it out here. Represented the Netherlands at the European Championships, and certainly she's opened up a pretty tidy lead of maybe 1.5 meters going into the turn 30.99. This is faster than we've seen, over a second faster than Sophie Shaw's 50 split. Anna Green, Ellis Shields, not much to separate them. Anna in the red cap in lane 6, Ellis beside her in lane 7. Edinburgh contest there, Warrender versus Edinburgh University, and Ingeborg Loining, the Norwegian, in lane 2, is not far behind them, but it is going to be Lottie Hosper through halfway, 1:04.49 for her.
Yeah, it's a pretty decent split there from Lottie Hosper. Entry time for her of 2:12.21. Looks like she's on her way to claiming the top spot as we stand. Again, that very steady head position. Love it when the camera just zooms in there. Look at the techniques of the swimmers as they go through their strokes. And she is looking very good. Lottie Hosper, she comes to this final turn. 34 second 50 there, so she's under the 140 mark. Ellis Shields looks like she has got the edge over Loining. And Anna Green in fourth position, being threatened slightly by Kate Morris down here in lane number 1. But it does look like Lottie Hosper is going to take this one comfortably. We'll just keep an eye on the clock. I think she is going to be faster than that previous heat. And she comes in around about that 2:14 mark, 2:13.99 for Lottie Hosper. Ellis Shields does get in for second position, and Ingeborg Loining in third, not too far behind, but that should guarantee Lottie Hosper place in that A final, and she'll be pretty close to the centre of the pool, you would think, with that time.
Yep, although we have a superstar coming up in this next one in lane 4. Just checking whether she's there, though. I'm not sure she is. Kylie Mass. Looks like we're not going to see her after all. So looking across the field, we've got 7 swimmers there, but we don't have a lane 4, so that's a shame. But we do have Manon Domignon from Liga Vern in 1, Lika Uda Lefferink of the Netherlands in 2, Olivia Butler, Edinburgh University in 3, Annie Osrin of Loughborough University in lane 5, 6, Johanna Sacher, Edinburgh University in 6, Freya Colbert of Loughborough University in 7, and Martina Manresa Malberti of Spain in lane 8. So you talked about Honey Osrin earlier. We'll see her going here in lane 5, 2:12 entry time, so she certainly will be in about it. Katie Shanahan, another one you might have expected to see in this event, 200 backstroke, but she decided that she was going to withdraw from this one after some good performances this weekend. So it certainly opens up the opportunities with no Shanahan and no Kylie Mass for some others to shine here. A good start from Freya Colbert. What a weekend she's having, showing her versatility here, going with the 200 backstroke. She did take bronze here, short course, in the Scottish National Championships. So an excellent start there, 31.57.
Oh, she's a real all-rounder, though. Freya Colbert, distance freestyle, well, middle distance freestyle, you would say, 400, 200 meters individual medley. You know, a really strong backstroker as well. And I did mention before, when we saw Freya Colbert and Katie Shanahan go head-to-head in the individual medley events, it was almost like England-Scotland battle. It was almost like Hannah Miley and Amy Wilmot all over again, with sharing, of course, gold and silver medals in the Commonwealth Games over 2014 and the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Amy Wilmot and Hannah Miley, what a rivalry that was. And like Freya Colbert and Katie Shanahan were kind of building up to that kind of level, and they're pushing each other along, same age.
Yeah, and we saw that wonderful 800 freestyle from Freya Colbert as well. So real versatility that she's showing, and be interesting to see where she takes her swimming career, because there's so many options for her. But 1:39.11 is just a slightly faster than Honey Osrin in the previous heat. Not Honey Osrin, she's there now. Who was it won that in the previous heat?
It was Lottie Hosper.
Thank you very much.
Colbert now coming in to the finish in that near outside lane, and again another impressive swim there, 2:13.65. Honey Osrin in this one in second, Manon Domignon in third place. She swam well from again another outside lane swimmer from the Liga Vern team. So yeah, delighted to see the French teams here.
Yeah, we seem to have seen Manon doing very well this weekend, but that was impressive from Freya Colbert. She goes into the final fastest there, 2:13.65 from Hosper and Osrin So it's going to be a good one, I think. I think it's going to be really open.
I expect maybe Shaw to possibly make a little bit of a move. She looked comfortable in that heat. She was pretty much out on her own. I wonder if she can do something to challenge the two, but Hosper and Colbert looked the best in that qualifying.
We stick with 200 backstroke next as we just scroll through all of those times there. And it's going to be the men. And in this one, we've got 5 heats. You can see the lineup in a moment for this first heat. It looks like we've got 6 swimmers going in it. And there they are. Tom Donker, PSV Eindhoven in 2. Daniel Rabinovic from Israel in 3. Rais Worley of Stirling University in 4. Ben Harrison of Loughborough University in 5. Kevin Goldentops goes for Thames Schelt in Belgium in lane 6. And Callum Peebles goes for East Lothian in lane 7. 206s and 207s, the entry times here.
Looks like a close contest on paper. We mentioned Rais Worley yesterday, didn't we, when we were talking about the nations' flags and the number of nations that were taking part in these championships. You just see them there on the top of your picture as they go down on the left-hand side, all the nations there. And a few more above the scoreboard as well. So real big representation from a number of countries here at these championships. It is it's called the Edinburgh International, and it's a true international event with a number of stars here. But it is Ben Harrison from Loughborough University who leads them through that first 50 of this first heat of the 200 backstroke. Second place at that first turn was Callum Peebles, and Daniel Rabinovic, the Israeli swimmer, goes in lane number 3, and he was lying in 3rd position. I wonder if he's going to move up into 2nd there, the Israeli. Looks like he might just do that. 101 for Harrison, ahead of Rabinovic. And Israel have had some good results as well. We saw Ricknick take part in the skins final yesterday in the backstroke. And we saw, of course, Gorbenko swim very well in Dane number 1. So the Israelis have been there and thereabout. They've got a decent team here.
Yep, second year we've had an Israel team, and it's great to have them with us, really show them what they can do. And it's Ben Harrison looking the favourite for this one, up by just over a second, 134.53 for the Loughborough swimmer. Actually, his entry time comes from his swim here last year, 206.84. So let's see if we can move that forward. Certainly does look like it's Rabinovic for 2nd place from Callum Peebles up in lane 7. That is going to be the 1-2-3 with Ben Harrison pretty well clear, bringing it in 2:06.22, so it does improve his time by 0.6. Rabinovic in 2nd, 2:08.34, Peebles 3rd, 2:10.92. So that result is confirmed. Harrison then, 2:06s. We've entry times in this next heat, 2:04s to 2:06s. And the line-up, I think everyone is there. Mike Maradar, Israel in 1, Robert Burgess, City of Glasgow in 2, another Israeli, Adam Marsana in 3, Neddy Irwin of Limerick in 4, then 2 Millfield swimmers, Alexander Sargent and Adam Graham. Saw some great distance swimming from Alexander Sargent so far this weekend. Jordan McPhail goes for Edinburgh University in 7, and Lewis Maxwell from the University of Bath in lane 8. So let's see what Alexander Sargent can do on backstroke after his really good distance swims yesterday and the day before.
Yeah, it was a huge improvement, wasn't it, on that 1500 swim that he did, almost a minute. And just, I wonder if it was maybe a mistake in the entry time, or maybe he hasn't done it too much, but...
Well, maybe it was just a brilliant performance.
Well, exactly, that's what I was just about to say that, Duncan. That it was, regardless of what the time was, it was a great performance by improving that entry time he did by around about a minute. Incredible. You don't see that often. You don't see big improvements like that at an international meet like this.
Now you see it with young kids, but not when you get to Alexander's level.
No. It's Lewis Maxwell who has taken them out in the outside lane. University of Bath swimmer. Sargent is featuring in the top two as he goes through in lane number 5 in second position. Jordan McPhail came off the wall well though, and a lot of the action taking place right at the top of your picture there, lane 7 and 8. And as we look at it, as they go down to the halfway point, Lewis Maxwell, that entry time of 2:06.63. Jordan McPhail 2:05.56 is his entry time. So they're the two of the slowest swimmers in terms of qualification time in for this one, but it's not too much of a surprise to see swimmers in the outside lane featuring in the shake-up here, because its entry times right across the board are very close, only a second or so separating all the swimmers in these early heats.
So through the final 50, and it's Jordan McPhail just edging past Lewis Maxwell now, 1:33.69. So Jordan will look to really push it on, and he's doing that. And a late push from Alexander Sargent. So can he get on terms here? He's in the white cap there on the right-hand side of your screen, as we see Jordan in the black cap. Looks to still have the advantage, and I don't think Alexander's going to catch him, although he's having a good go at it. But it's going to be Jordan McPhail, the Edinburgh University swimmer, taking the win in 2:05.62, right on his entry time. Sargent takes second, 2:05.81.
Big last 50 there.
Yeah. Third place, Lewis Maxwell, the early leader, 2:07.53 for him. But it's McPhail takes heat 2.
Yeah, good stuff from McPhail and Sargent, the top two. We move on to the third heat. First of the cyclically seeded heats. Connor Cherrington goes for Millfield in lane 1. Mads Muller, Hovenstadens in lane 2. In lane 3, Conor Ferguson, Loughborough University. Oliver Morgan goes for Birmingham University in 4. David Gerchik, just mentioned him, the Israeli swimmer in lane 5. Manuel Martos Bacarizo for Spain, next to his Spanish teammate Marcos Martin Virgilo. They go in 6 and 7. And Jack Skerry from Newhall goes in lane number 8. We've seen Jack Skerry get off to some good starts. He's in the sprint, certainly he's been featuring. I wonder if he'll get off to a good start here again in this 200 backstroke. Oliver Morgan and David Gerchik, they fought out the skins last night in the 50 backstroke. Oliver Morgan was a medalist as well in the 100 backstroke, tied for that bronze medal position. Such a cracking final in that 100 backstroke, tie for first place, a tie for the bronze medal position. And maybe as predicted, Jack Skerry might just be leading them through here in the outside lane, maybe. Oh, not quite, he's 4th actually, but blanket across the top 4 swimmers there, and it is Oliver Morgan who leads them.
Yes, Oliver Morgan is a swimmer who's really come to the fore in the last year or two, a Birmingham University swimmer, and must admit it was 2 years ago that was a name I'd never heard of, but suddenly you have to learn about Oliver Morgan because he is really coming through strongly. He was a winner at the British Universities, and he is leading the way here, 58.66. That's our first swim under the minute at the halfway point. 4 swimmers going under the minute. Gerchik in second, Matos Bacarizo third. And it's certainly these swimmers, along with Conor Ferguson in lane 3, is setting it out. Jack Skerry trying his best to stay with them up in lane 8. But now it looks like maybe David Gerchik has got into the lead. Yes, he has. He really goes through 1:29.87. Represented Israel at the European Championships. 14th overall there. And he's got about 7/10 of a lead and is really looking good now to take this heat.
Gerchik just stretching away from the others. Morgan looking comfortable in second position. Bacarizzo is in third, I think, and there's Gerchik into the wall. 2 minutes, 0.39. Morgan in second, Martos Bacarizzo in third, and Conor Ferguson in fourth place there in 2:03. We'll keep an eye on these times. Of course, it's the first of the cyclically seeded heats, so 2 fast heats to come. So 2 minutes for Gerchik. You would think he'd be pretty safe with that one. Morgan 2:02.19 and 2:02.81 for the third place swimmer there. So keep an eye on these times as we go on to the next heat, which is heat number 4. You saw the lineup there. Tom Barden from Loughborough University in lane number 1. Jamie Ferguson from University of Aberdeen Performance in 2. Bernhard Reitsamer, the Austrian, back in the water again. He goes in 3. Brodie Williams from the University of Bath goes in 4. Elliot Clogg, Loughborough University, in 5. Next to his Loughborough teammate James McFadden in 6. I don't think we have James McFadden actually. We haven't seen him all week, James McFadden, so he's not taking the start here. But we have Thomas Janssen. That great individual medley yesterday. And John Short from Limerick in the outside lane. But, well, Brodie Williams in the middle lane there. Commonwealth Games champion from England. He will be the one to beat here. We saw him earlier in the week, but with a time of 1:56.15, he would be firm favourite for this one. The Edinburgh International record stands at 1:58.65, so I wonder if anyone's got designs on that. We'll see how these swimmers progress as we go through. There's 200 Williams and Elliot Clogg, in lane number 5, looking like they are going to lead them through the halfway point. Reitsamer back in the water again after that sprint early on. Brodie Williams and Elliot Clogg absolutely together at halfway, 58.76.
Yeah, this is a good tight contest and pretty much the same pacing as we saw from Gerchik and Butcher Morgan in the previous heat. So lanes 4 and 5, it is Williams and Clogg just edging away, going nicely up at the top. John Short of Limerick, he's not far away here. Really good third 50 from John as they go through into the final 50, and it is Williams just edging into the lead now, 1:30.16, 2/10 up on Clogg. Short another 6/10 behind ahead of Reitsamer. These are the leading 4 ahead of Thomas Janssen in 7, the 200 IM winner. Silver, second place 400 IM winner. But it is, I think, going to be Williams bringing it in. I think he knows what he's doing here, and he's just guiding himself into about a meter's lead to take the win. 2:01.52, not quite as fast as Gerchik, but I think comfortably into the final with that. Another 2:01. Elliot Clogg, he should be okay. And John Short, that was a terrific swim. He came into this on a 2:04, so take that down to a 2:02. I think there'll be a certain Mr. John Sharanek will be pretty happy about that, his coach.
Just 16 years of age. When looking at the ages of the swimmers in that previous heat, they had a couple of 20-year-olds, everyone else in their 20s, and the young man, 16 years of age from Limerick, you're mixing it with the big boys there.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Great improvement. He'll certainly have another swim with that. Is it going to be good enough for the top 8? Well, we'll find out very shortly. Because here is the next heat. Couple of empty lanes, I think, possibly. Maybe just one closest to us. We do have Niels Dijkshoorn from Netherlands in lane 2. Cameron Brooker from the University of Bath in 3. Luke Greenbank and Charlie Brown in 4 and 5, 2 Loughborough University swimmers. Inbar Danziger from Israel in lane number 6. Armin Leil from Estonia in lane 7. Stan Frank from Trust in lane number 8. Luke Greenbank is the British record holder, Olympic Games bronze medalist. He's a meet record holder in this one, Luke Greenbank, that time of 158.65. Cameron Brooker, though, was the winner of the 100 backstroke. Equal winner, a dead heat for the win. Charlie Brown in lane number 5 going well. Well, these swimmers in the middle 4 lanes look like they are stretching away from the rest of the field. Brooker in 3, Greenbank in 4, Brown in 5 and Danziger in 6. Well, with the turn for Charlie Brown, 59.14, just ahead of Greenbank. And Brooker just 2/100ths of a second behind. It's decent pace. Oh, what do you think, Duncan? Is it 2:01? Do you think these guys need to go to make that top 8? It's going to be there or thereabouts.
Certainly to be secure in it, I think. Yeah, interesting. This is the only event that Luke Greenbank is entering in this one. He withdrew from the other backstroke events, so saving himself. This is, of course, his signature event, 200 backstroke, and he's just moved into the lead now at the 150. 130.59, not as fast as the previous heats though, so they'll need to push it on here in this last 50 metres, and Greenbank and Brooker are the ones who are doing that. Charlie Brown trying to push on with them, just getting ahead of Danziger and Dijkshoorn, but it's going to be Greenbank. I think he has just run perhaps a sort of fairly typical heat swim. Getting the job done, I think, is how you describe that, and certainly 2:01.65, that's going to be no problem to get into the final. Not quite as fast as Brodie Williams, but right there or thereabouts, and I think it's going to be Gerchek who will have lane 4 in the final. But Greenbank there, 2:01.65, Charlie Brown, 2:02.5, well, I don't know, and Brooker 2:02.6, we'll see in a moment where they stand. In fact, here we go. Charlie Brown just gets it.
He does.
But Brooker will miss out into the B final. So Gerchek, Williams, Greenbank, Clog, short. 5th fastest. That's great stuff. And there you see Cameron Brooker in 9th spot.
Just watching that finish there from Luke Greenbank. Very powerful in the second half of that 200 back. Just harking back. Almost miss Craig McNally's trademark 200 backstroke. Blistering last 50.
Yeah.
Was Craig McNally one of the... well, how many Commonwealth Games did Craig McNally do? 3,
a lot.
4?
I think at Delhi.
Yeah.
I think he was at Delhi, Glasgow,
Yeah. Nice
Gold Coast,
yeah.
Birmingham.
Birmingham, yeah.
4.
Gave got a medal, of course, in the medley relay. It's must have been his last swim for the Scottish team.
Yeah, then retired after Birmingham, and of course he's did a lot of his swimming in this pool. Started off with Warrender for many, many years. So yeah,
nice to give him a mention.
Yeah, we miss you, Craig.
Play tribute, tribute to him.
So we move on to another event now, and this is the women's 200 breaststroke. There are 5 swimmers going in the first heat. First of 4. Ciara Davison, City of Glasgow in lane 2. Lucy Stowes, Dundee City Aquatics in 3. Lily Jackson Oates, Nova Centurion in 4. Justine Brock of Villefranche in 5. And Ailey Robertson of South Ayrshire in lane 6. 2:38 to 2:40 the entry times here. So let's see how this one sets off. It looks like it's lanes 5 and 6 making the early running. Justine Brock and Ailey Robertson, and not much between them at all at the turn. And also lane 3, Lucy Stowes pretty close. In fact, she's second, just 400ths behind Ailey Robertson, who turns first. 36.31 for the South Ayrshire swimmer, member of the Scottish Youth Academy squad. Winner recently in Toll Cross in the West District Championships. So she's in the blue cap in lane 6. Beside her, the French swimmer Justine Brock. She was a finalist in Geneva in January. So those two. And Lucy Stowes from Dundee up with them still splitting them. 17.32, Ailey Robertson a couple of tenths up. Lucy Stowes Was a winner last weekend up in Aberdeen, combined North and Midland District Championships. So she's got some pedigree, silver medalist in Scottish national age groups. And she take it to them. The others are right up there as well, though, Paul.
Yeah, it's not much to choose between all 5 swimmers here as they come to this final turn. And Hayley Robertson, is she going to still have the lead here? Is Justine Brock just going to edge her? That's the Dundee swimmer. Lucy Stoves just takes up the running, but you wouldn't really discount anyone here of the 5. What a good first heat this is. Lucy Stoves, though, she might just have the momentum here to take her ahead of the others. Robertson with that blue cap right up there, the top of the 5 swimmers, and coming through strongly now in lane number 4, Lily Jackson Oates from Nova Centurion. Is it going to be a big finish from her? Lucy Stoves headed for home in at the turn ahead, but is she going to be there at the end? It is going to be between her and Lily Jackson Oates right on the turn. Lucy Stoves reaches for the wall in 2:42.37, wins it by half a second in the end, and those times faster than Justine Brock in 3rd position there, 2:44.06, but just gets in ahead of Hayley Robertson. But a good contest there between all 5 swimmers.
Yeah, an interesting one there, because it looked through that last turn that Lucy Stoves was going to pull away. She had a terrific final turn, but Justine Brock was really right there with her, and maybe a few more metres and she would have had it.
Yeah, very good finish there from the Nova swimmer. The second of these 4 heats. We have Emir Doyle from Limerick in lane number 1. Alwyn Cook goes for Edinburgh University in 2. Ophelia Nodiker from Hovenstatens goes in lane number 3. Emma Carrasco-Cadens from Spain in lane 4. Ellie McCartney from Ireland in 5. Grace Palmer from Belgium in 6. Anna van Droffelaar from Netherlands in 7. And Anna Finlay from Derwentside in lane number 8. Who's going to be first to the wall? Possibly Ellie McCartney, one of the Irish swimmers in this one. It's Ireland 1, Spain 2, Belgium in 3rd, Netherlands in 4th. A real international field at the front of this second heat of the 200 breaststroke for women this morning. And, looks very comfortable at the front of the field. Real great stretch out at the front of the stroke there for the leading 2 in 4 and 5. Emma Carrasco-Cadens and Ellie McCartney, and also in lane 6 as well, Grace Palmer coming back into contention there and taking the lead by 0.3 of a second as we go into the second half of this one. We saw a good swim last night as well by Ophelia Nodiker, taking a B final victory last night. She's in a contest for 4th place, I should say, at this stage, and that's the swimmer in lane number 3, because the leading 3 are away and clear here.
Yeah, it was a good tight contest between the 3 of them. Grace Palmer, we know, has been in good form, put in a really good swim in Antwerp recently, in faster by a couple of seconds than her entry time here, but it's McCartney who goes into the final length in the lead by a couple of tenths, 1:53.28 for the Irish swimmer. She was a winner recently at Bangor at the McCullough meet, and going in the black cap in lane 5, still Carrasco-Cadens right up there as well, the World Junior Champion. In lane 4, the Spaniard with a bright future in front of her, and it looks like it's going to be Carrasco-Cadens and McCartney contesting this one. Maybe McCartney's going to get the touch. Yes, she does. 2:32.61 by 0.05 of a second. So we'll keep an eye on those times, with Grace Palmer in 3rd, not that far behind, 2:33. So good stuff there, but a nice, good, tight contest. Ellie McCartney and Emma Carrasco-Cadens there. 2:32.61 and 2:32 6-6.
Yeah, very close. As we'll see the lineup for this third heat. Emily Morgan-Hughes from University of Bath in 1. Ailsa McDonald from Edinburgh University in 2. Zinke Delcamoon from Belgium in 3. Lily Booker from Loughborough University goes in 4. Alba Vasquez Ruiz from Spain in 5. Rogitsagard from Hovedstadens goes in lane number 6. Anke Jeroens goes in 7 from TSZ, and Jill May Chung Tong from WVZ goes in the outside lane, in lane number 8. So in the centre lane, Lily Booker from Loughborough University. Not sure, have we seen Lily Booker this week? I can't think. Maybe on the first day we've seen her, but 200 breaststroke Bucks record she set in the 200 breaststroke, 2:25.77 just a couple of weeks ago. So a swimmer on great form. Also going well right up there in lane number 7 is Anke Jeroens. And she's pushing Lily Booker in these early stages. Of Booker has gone away from everyone else in the field, so it's even at the very early stages, Duncan, it's a head-to-head between these two.
It certainly looks like it. They are staking their claims for an open final place tonight. 1:11.81 for Jeroens, 1:12.10 for Booker. Zinke Delcamoon in the 3rd place, just ahead of Jill Nei Chung Tong. 1:15's also Alba Vasquez Ruiz in the 1:15 territory. But as you said, Paul, it is a two-way contest, and maybe Lily Booker just started to open up the gap now in lane 4, but not by too much. But I think she is going to have the advantage as we come up to the 150. That gives you a good view as to what that advantage is, about a body length. And she goes through 1:50.38, nearly 3 seconds faster than the previous heat. And Anke Jeroens also faster than the previous heat. So you would think these two are getting the job done. And good challenge coming in now from Zinke Delcamoon in lane 3. So she is going well. She's out of your shot at the moment as we focus on Lily Booker and Anke Jeroens, but not too far, as you can see behind them is Zinke Delcamoon there in lane 3. But in the end, it's going to be a comfortable Lily Booker win. As you said, Paul, she was really impressive at British University at 2:25. So, well, the heat swimmer, 2:29.05. It's not too shabby at all. It'll be interesting to see what she can do in the final. It certainly will be in the open final with that. Jeroens 2:32.73. Delcamoon 2:34 for her. So let's see, we were in 2:32s, weren't we, the winning time from the previous heat. So Jeroens, I think, is in good shape. Zinke Delcamoon.
There's a couple on 2:30. There was a couple on 2:32.6, and she was 2:32.7. So it should be pretty good, though, I think.
Yeah.
4th place as we stand with one more heat to come. Fast times in the entry times for these swimmers in this final heat. Charlotte Hardy from Millfield, closest to us. Kira Fletcher, Nova Centurion in 2. Anna Morgan from Edinburgh University in lane number 3. Abby Wood will be the favourite for this one. Loughborough University in lane 4. Niamh Coyne from Ireland in 5. Hannah Bowley from Repton in 6. Orla Adams from University of Aberdeen Performance in 7, and Denisa Elena Gogu from City of Manchester Aquatic out there in lane number 8. Abby Wood, well, again, she's competed for the British team on the world stage. Abby Wood, Olympic finalist, World Championship finalist. She's a British champion, winning that title ahead of Lily Booker last year. Might be on for another head-to-head in the final here in Edinburgh. Lily Booker in pole position at the minute, but Abby Wood looking good in her heat. And she's half a body length ahead of the others in this field. Niamh Coyne in lane number 5. Denise Elena Gogu going well right at the top, the City of Manchester swimmer. As they come to the halfway point, Abbey Wood with that excellent first 100, 112.27 at the halfway point.
Great all-rounder, of course, Abbey Wood. We saw her in that fantastic 200 freestyle last night, last race of the evening, which really battled it out with Freya Anderson and others, Lucy Hope, and it was really, really tight one.
Really good times as well.
Yeah,
that one at this stage.
But now showing what she could do on the breaststroke, and she is pulling away now in this third length from lane 5. Niamh Corrin, the Irish swimmer. Niamh, the Irish champion, represented Ireland at the European Championships last year. So it is 1:51.04, not quite as fast as we saw in the previous heat from Lily Booker, but well, I don't know that matters too much. If you've got a decent lane, then you can go head-to-head tonight, and certainly Abbey Wood is going to be in that position. Niamh Corrin will want to try and hold on to second place here. That could be important as they come down with Hannah Bowley on her right-hand side, Anna Morgan just behind them in 4th place, but no doubt about the winner, Abbey Wood, bringing it in then. So we had a 2:29.05 in the previous heat, not as fast as that, 2:30.69, but Abbey will be safe with that. Bowley 2:34.29, so we'll see where that positions her. Maybe, I don't know, we'll see. Niamh Corrin third, 2:35.12. We'll get that heat summary there, and then we'll find out who are in the top 8. I think it's going to be tight in the sort of 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th area.
Might have been a vital touch there for Hannah Bowley, we'll see. Yeah, it was.
It was, yes. So Booker, Wood, McCartney, the top 3. Carrasco, Cadams, Jeroms, Palmer, Del Commune, Bowley just getting there ahead of Olwyn Cook. And Niamh Corrin into the B final as well from that last heat.
Well, very close terms of qualification there, but that's really set us up for a head-to-head Lily Booker and Abbey Wood tonight. That's going to be great.
So you were down at British Universities commentating on that one against those two. So how did it look there? Was it tight?
No, Abbey Wood wasn't there. It was Lily Booker.
My
was
apologies.
The one,
right.
Yeah, but Lily Booker looked really good. Really good. And she pretty much swam on her own in the second half of that 200 breaststroke, but dominated it. But British champs last year, Abbey Wood and Lily Booker had the head-to-head, and I'm sure they will be looking to have the bragging rights leading into that British Championships in about a month's time. Should be a good final tonight.
So we move now to men's 100 butterfly. This is the first of 5 heats, just the 3 swimmers involved in it. Brogan Hyde of Stirling University, the youngster from Aberdeen Dolphin, Dean Fern, who is becoming quite a junior sensation here in Scotland, and Callum Rose from Edinburgh University beside him. So it is Hyde, Fern and Rose in that order, 25.43. Brogan Hyde just with the advantage. Dean Fern, British summer champion in his age group last year. He'll have his eye, I would think, this year on the Scottish junior record, 54.97, that Stefan Kravis holds. So I'm sure he's going to have another year after this year to try and get that as well, but he's not going to get it in this race. It's going to be Brogan Hyde taking the win, 56.06 for him, inside his entry time. Very nicely, couple of tenths, 3 tenths, near enough. Callum Rose also in the 56s, 56.66, and Dean Fern 57.0 for him.
Yeah, we were keeping half an eye on some of the Scottish junior records last night when we saw Dean Fern. So, I mean, he's edging ever closer to some of these marks. A number of events that he has been doing over the last couple of days. Heat number 2 of the 5 heats. Sees Jahav Halaj from Israel in lane number 1, Elias Snow from Holbeck in 2. Ite Rosenfeld, second Israeli swimmer, goes in lane number 3. Good start from Nikita Baez from Ligue Auvergne. French swimmer in lane number 4. Jacob Wibley from Repton in lane number 5. Peter Allen from Stirling University goes in 6. And Tom Robertson from Aberdeen Dolphins goes out there in lane number 7. Nikita Bias, though, a clear lead over the rest of the field. The lead of Aaron swimmer, 55.34 is his entry time. I wonder if he's going to go inside that one. He certainly looks in good shape here and looks very strong coming into the closing stages. 54.69. Well done to Nikita Bias. 1.7 of a second inside his entry time. 54.69, almost a second and a half ahead of everyone else in the field. Elias Noel and Peter Allen, the second and third place swimmers.
Yep, that was impressive from Nikita. Really drove that one hard down the last 15 or so meters to keep that momentum going. Nice PB. So here we go with heat number 3. Ben Carr, Edinburgh University in 1. Tom Bealey of University of Aberdeen in 2. Arbidel Gonzalez Alvarez of Spain in 3. Jacob Peters from the University of Bath in 4. Joe Litchfield of Loughborough University in 5. Evan Jones back for a second swim of the day, goes in lane 6 for Stirling University. Oliver Sogard Anderson, Hoverstatens in 7, and Daniel Travchov of Israel in lane number 8. Peters, 51.5 entry time, would be the fancied one you would think here. He was finalist in the Commonwealth Games, semi-finalist in the World Championships, and he is leading them up to the turn. He goes through that in 24.69 from Ben Carr. Good start from him from lane 1, and Joe Litchfield just behind him in 3rd place. Let's see if Ben Carr can keep this going. The New Zealander based in Edinburgh. I think maybe Litchfield's just going past him a little bit now, as Jacob Peters looking to see this one through. And I don't think he's going to have any trouble finishing this one off, and brings it in 53.42. Second place was Litchfield, just getting stronger and stronger as the second half progressed. He goes in 54.45. And Arbidel Gonzalez Alvarez taking 3rd, just ahead of Bealey and Carr.
Yeah, nice swim there from Jacob Peters. Saw him, of course, in the 50 butterfly the other day. The Skins finalist as well. And here's the lineup for the next heat. Inbad Danziger in 1 from Israel. Yanis Tutel from Thionville in lane 2. Gregor Swinney from Edinburgh University in 3. James Guy from University of Bath in 4. Jamie Ingram, City of Manchester Aquatics. He goes in lane number 5. Killian Peck from League of Erne goes in 6. Evan Bailey from Limerick in 7, and Luke Ibbison from Loughborough University goes in lane number 8. Well, familiar figure at the front of the field, James Guy, a real star he has been for GB swimming over the last decade or so. One of these batch of swimmers who has got multiple Olympic Games medalists. What a run of medals that Great Britain have had at the Olympic Games over the last couple of Olympic cycles. And James Guy still very much to the fore. Here's the British record holder, he's the meet record holder in this particular event, and he hits the wall at 52.92, fastest we have seen. James Guy ahead of Jamie Ingram and Killian Pegg, with Gregor Swinney in 4th position. But James Guy looking good, looking strong.
Yeah, he looked very good there, and taking that heat swim pretty seriously, half a second faster than Peters, and really setting out a bit of a statement there. And it'll be interesting to see him tonight, how much he can take off that heat swim. But he looked good, as you said. Into the final heat then of this men's underfly. Salvador Gordo of Stirling University in 1, Brian Long of Chelsea and Westminster in 2, Casper Pugard of Hoverstatens in 3, Simon Buscher is in 4, the Austrian from Oberoster, Edward Mildred, University of Bath in 5, Miguel Martinez Novoa of Spain in 6, Hotin Long of Loughborough University in 7, Cole Hewitt, City of Sheffield in 8. So 52.92 was Jamie Guy's time. Let's see what Simon Buscher can do. He is finest in both the Europeans and the World Championships last year. He goes through 23.91, and that is the fastest we've seen. That was a very swift first 50 for Butcher, and he is looking really good down this second length as well. He is taking this heat swim really seriously. Let's see what sort of time he can do. Mildred in second place in the white cap in lane 5, but this is all about Austria, all about Simon Buscher. Let's see what his time is, 51.43, and that is a new Edinburgh International meet record there. Wow, doing it in the heat. Fantastic stuff. What a swim that was.
That was incredibly powerful. He hasn't really got a long butterfly stroke at the front there, but it was almost like quite a stocky character, stocky pull that he had there, but such power that he got with every single stroke, and that has propelled him to such a good time, 51.43, ahead of James Guy. Wow, incredible swim in the morning. What's he going to go tonight?
Well, let's see. I wonder if he can take a bit more off that time. Certainly has set a standard to the two Brits there. They've got something to think about between now and this evening. How do you get past Simon Buscher?
Yeah, fantastic swim there from the Austrian. James Guy and Jacob Peters. James Guy looked good, but you have to say Simon Buscher looked really excellent there. James Guy is, I was saying, one of these raft of Great Britain swimmers who've got like a load of Olympic medals. I think James Guy's got 5, I think. Duncan Scott's got 6. Adam Peaty's got 5. You know, it's incredible to think that Great Britain had such a good state in terms of Olympic swimming. You wouldn't have really imagined that a few years back.
Yeah, it's dangerous. So you sort of take it for granted now, but we shouldn't. We absolutely shouldn't. These are magnificent athletes. 100 freestyle now for the women. And Heat 1 gets underway with Maria Romanovskaya of Repton in 1, Diana Santa Maria Losada of Spain in 2, Katie Goodburn, Edinburgh University in 3, Sian Gulland of Israel in 4, Yara Kalmthout of the Netherlands in 5, Angelina Roman, also from the Netherlands, in 6, and Nicole Dupre of Millfield in lane 7. So the entry times here all in 57th territory. Through the turn, it is Diana Santa Maria Losada, 27.76 for the Spaniard. Find this recently in the Flanders Cup. She just about got the edge, but Sian Gulland now looking good in lane 4 in the white cap. Yara Kalmthout beside her as well. And maybe it's these two now who are contesting it. They are side by side coming into the final 5. Maybe it's going to be the white cap Gulland taking the win. It is 57.14. So she's inside her entry time by a 10th. Second, Yara Kalmthout, 57.27, right on her entry time. And Maria Romanovskaya, the Repton swimmer, taking 3rd place.
Ah, nice from the 16-year-old at the front there, the Israeli swimmer. Elena Morgan goes in lane 1 in this second heat, still in University. Cornelia Pammer back in the water again, the Austrian, into 2 Belgians in 3 and 4. Betty van Hovert and Lana Ravellingen. Mia Slavin goes for Loughborough in 5. Georgina Pryor de Ventio in 6. Drew McKenzie, City of Glasgow in 7. And Jana Spinner, who has featured in a lot of the sprint events, characteristically goes off to a fast start in lane number 8. Cornelia Pammer also going well in lane number 2, but it's going to be Jana Spinner, I think, first to the wall. Oh no, Pammer it was by 4 100ths. Pryor in the middle lane, lane 6 in 3rd position, but Jana Spinner going very well in that outside lane. Featuring a number of finals. I wonder if she has the signs of getting another swim tonight in this 100 freestyle. Entry time of 57.20. I think she's going to be inside that one. Great swim from the outside lane here. Jana Spinner, 56.49. Big improvement on that entry time. Cornelia Palmer on the other side of the pool, also under the 57-second mark.
So I think both those two swimmers have given themselves a chance. So we'll see as the cycle seeded heats come in, how many can get into 56 or below. Heat number 3, no lane 7. So the lineup here is Erin Riordan of Ireland in 1, Cornelia Fiedkevits of Loughborough in 2, Sam van Noonen of the Netherlands in 3, Katie Deloof of Loughborough in 4, Kim Bush of the Netherlands in 5, Victoria Cathson of Ireland in 6, and Mayora Trompet of Liegeverd in lane 8. So lane 5 then, Kim Bush, the Dutch swimmer, setting off well. She's going to have the edge, I think, at the turn from the American Katie Deloof. Maybe a metre or so in it, 26.30. So it is faster than we've seen. So Kim Bush, she said Dutch swimmer, part of the Dutch 4x100 team at the Europeans where they picked up bronze. But now coming under pressure from Katie Deloof. And it looks like Katie, who won at Sheffield at British Universities recently, just coming through in the second half and takes the win in 54.85. So good strong swim there, 54.50 entry time, so not far away from that at all. We talked about sub 57s and 5 of those swimmers getting under the 57s there, so yeah, we'll be on the cusp, that 56.4 from Jana Spinner, I think, for the B final, but we'll see 2 more heats still to go, of course. And that was a pretty fast heat there, Deloof leading them in the end.
It was indeed. Deloof in great form at the Bucks Championships, winning the 50 and the 100 freestyle. Looking in good shape there. Yeah, 4th heat just about to start now. Laurie Devine from Repton in 1, Evie Davis from Stirling University in 2, Ruslan Otterdijk goes in lane 3 for Belgium. Freya Anderson, what a win she had in the 200 yesterday. University of Bath goes in lane 4. Paige Madden, the American representing Loughborough University, Olympic medalist herself in the relay team for the US. She goes in 5. Signe Bro from Denmark in 6. Joa Campabadal Amaskua from Spain in 7. Jemima Hall from University of Bath in lane number 8. So Signe Bro leads them out in lane number 6. Freya Anderson close behind, herself an Olympic medalist in the relay. Winner of that 200. She was really strong at the end of that 200 yesterday. Signe Bro was also in the mix as well, and it's going to be the Danish swimmer who gets in ahead in 55.23. Signe Bro just inside her entry time, so she'll be pleased with that swim this morning. Freya Anderson 55.57 in 2nd position, so I think, Duncan, that is going to be good enough for the top 8 for these two.
1 more heat to go and we'll find out the lineup in this one. We have Harriet Rogers going in lane 1 for Loughborough. Had teammate Freya Colbert back in the water again in lane 2. Valentine Dermont of Belgium in 3. Anna Hopkin, Loughborough in 4. Lucy Hope of Stirling University in 5. Isabella Hindley, another Loughborough swimmer, in lane 6. Milou van Wijk of Netherlands in 7. And Alba Herrera Lazaro of Spain in lane 8. So a strong Loughborough presence here, but Anna Hopkin, the fancied one, and she's certainly off strongly. Anna, British champion, 4th in the Commonwealth Games, and she's going to lead them through. Milou van Wijk off to a good start, and Dermont as well. Lucy Hope also 26.45 is in the mix for the splits at halfway. And it does look like Hopkin just doing what it takes to keep herself in the front here. Dermont in lane 3, the Belgian in 2nd place. That, I think, is going to be the 1-2 here, ahead of lane 5, Lucy Hope. So that is your 1-2-3, 54.92, the winning time, just behind Katie Deloof's time, so they're going to be very well matched in the centre lanes in tonight's final. Dermont 2nd, Pope third. And there is your lineup. All three of them make it into the open final. Duluth will be fastest, as I said. Hopkin and Dermont, Bro, Bush, Anderson up there. Evie Davis just missing out. And with Victoria Catterson, look at those, all 56s.
17-100s between these next 8.
That's going to be a fun B final. And what's more, 56s and 57s there.
Interesting, Katie Duluth and Anna Hopkin, very similar techniques, that kind of straight arm sprint freestyle technique. They're going to go be side to side. That's going to be an interesting one tonight.
I guess that's sort of become the standard technique now, hasn't it, for the freestyle sprinters? So you don't see too many sprinters not doing that sort of technique now. And so probably 4 years ago it wouldn't have been like that.
Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, I suppose what happens at the big international meet, someone comes up with some sort of technique that seems to work for them. And, you know, when you go to the big internationals, you see the top swimmers, you're always looking for some sort of tips. What makes them the best? You know, what gives them that advantage? And that technique's certainly been adopted by a number of swimmers. I mean, it's not a new technique. I suppose Janet Evans back in the day was a very famous straight arm freestyler, but it's more of a distance freestyle at that time. And she was a multi-Olympic champion, Janet Evans, back in my day.
In those dim and distant
yeah,
past.
Exactly.
So on to 400 freestyle now for the men. This is the first of 4 heats, just the 3 swimmers in it. Yannick Weiland of the Netherlands in 3, Tom Sansom of Loughborough in 4, and a very promising youngster from Limerick, Dennis O'Brien, goes in lane 5. Entry times 4:04, 4:05. As we set off here with the early leader, the Dutchman Yannick Weiland. 18-year-old this year. And he's got maybe a meter's advantage as they come through the 100 under the minute, 59.26. A second ahead of Sansom and O'Brien, just about side by side. So Weiland 30.8 there for his second 50, so 7/10 faster than the other two on that 50. And I think he's pretty extending his lead down length 3. So we'll get the intermediate splits at the 150 mark. Looks like O'Brien now moving into second. So 31.7, 32.0 for O'Brien, 32.8 for Sansom. So Weiland going well, 131.01. Halfway through his second 100.
He's got that very pronounced bent wrist at the front there, trying to catch the water at the front of the stroke. Very effective for the young man. We've seen him as a junior swimmer featuring the A and B finals. It's been maybe the only junior swimmer featuring in that, so certainly be one of the top juniors here over the last few days. Janet Weiland. And just the gap opening up there. 31.48, 31.95 was the splits for that previous 50 as they go into the second half of this one. So it does look like Weiland is extending his lead. Dennis O'Brien beginning to pull away now from Tom Sansom as they go through the 250 mark.
That's one of the beauties of this meet is we do have these junior finals. Of course, there's qualification not just for the major senior championships, but European juniors as well. And so this is an important meet for the junior swimmers to show where they're at. And as we said, it can be a qualification event for some nations. So if you can post a strong time here, maybe that gets you to European juniors. So if not, then it sets you up for whatever the qualification event is. So these juniors, this really matters. 3:04.47, so pacing around 62 there. So it's going nicely. I don't think we'll be quite on the 4:04s unless he really picks it up, which he might do on this last 100. Certainly going to take the heat comfortably. O'Brien now on his own in second place, and Sansom just out of shot. We'll see him come through as they see him in the turn. So leading then, 3:35.44, just under 31 seconds for that heat. So if he can go down to 29-ish, he'll be there or thereabouts on his entry time. Let's see whether he does pick up this pace down this last length. He is now best part of 10 meters clear as we now have the camera showing him coming towards us.
Yeah, head down.
Yep, 4:05.47, so pretty close to his 4:05.16 entry time. So I think he'd be pretty happy with that, and because we do have the opportunity, if he doesn't make the Open or the B final, that he would certainly, you would think, be in the junior final for another go tonight. 4:11 for Dennis O'Brien, 4:19 for Tom Sansom.
Yeah, nice swim there from Vyland, and the second heat are on their way right now. Just check if we have everyone. I think we might have a missing swimmer in lane number 2. We do have Jack Fleming, Loughborough University, in lane number 1. We have a trio of Stirling University swimmers in 3, 4 and 5. That's Andrew Bertoli, Tony Joe, Tret Oliver and Jack Munsey. We have Arthur Logan from Edinburgh University in 6, and Niels Dijksom from Netherlands, another one of the Netherlands swimmers, going in lane number 7. Just looking at the ages of these swimmers, no one in the junior ranks here. We had one junior swimmer, but he's not taking the start. So it leaves Jack Fleming out on his own in that outside lane. Loughborough University swimmer in 4:04.13 was his entry time, but in the middle of the pool, entry times in 4:01.14, which was the fastest from Tony Joe, Tret Oliver. I wonder if anyone can edge close to that 4-minute mark for this 400 freestyle. They've gone out 57.59 for Jack Munsey. He's had a couple of good swims already over the last couple of days. Had a good 200 swim. Made his way into the B final. He's trying to make his way into another final tonight. Jack Munsey in lane number 5 now, being pressed by Tony Joe, Tret Oliver. Next to him, who's missed out on the final of the 200 metres individual medley. I think he was hoping to pose a challenge in that one, but it was really close for qualification. He ended up in the B final. Made the final of 400 individual medley though, so...
Yeah, finished third in that.
Yeah.
So that was an excellent performance from Tony Joe, and he's just edging into the lead now. So this is going to be a Stirling contest all the way. Lanes 3, 4 and 5 all from Stirling, but lane 6 Arthur Logan from Edinburgh University might have something to say about that. But it is Tret Oliver and Munsey at the halfway mark, 1:59.66 and 2:00.08. 4/10 between them, then another half second to Arthur Logan in lane 6. Tret Oliver certainly has looked pretty good today and the last couple of days, and he's just maybe gradually building his lead now over Jack Munsey, who does still have Arthur Logan knocking on the door just behind him, and others not far away. Niels Dijksom in lane 7 and Jack Fleming in lane 1, and for Andrew Bertoli for that matter, but it is Tony Joe, you see there, 30.9, half a second faster down that last length than anybody else, and he's building that lead. Looks like he's continuing to go faster than the others as he comes down towards 300. He's got, what, 3 meters of an advantage, 3:01.57, 30.9 there. And they're coming back at him a bit in terms of intermediate splits. Some of the other swimmers now just about on terms with that, but he's got a 2-second lead over Jack Munsey, and a good turn from Andrew Bertoli, who's suddenly starting to make a move in this second place contest, along with Arthur Logan in lane 6. Can't see any of them getting close to Tony Joe as he turns for home with about 4-5 meter lead. 30.6 for him. 31s for the following crew. Logan, Bertoli, Munsey is the order. So Tony Joe now just has to push on hard and see if he can force his way into at least the B final. Certainly pushing it nicely. His entry time 4:01. He'll be a little bit off that, but not much, as he comes in to take the win in 4:02.94. Tight for second there, but just goes to Arthur Logan there. Although three there was pretty close. Closer to me than the second and a half that's up on the board, but well, that's the timing. The electronics know what they're doing. But totally taking third, just ahead of Muncie.
Yeah, nice swim there at the front there by Tony Joe Trent Oliver. 4:02.94, giving him a chance of another swim. I'm not sure if that's going to be good enough for the A final, but maybe in the B final is a possibility. But some fast swimmers to come here in these following two heats. Two more heats and we're into the cyclically seeded heats. Now Thomas Janssen, the impressive couple of individual medley swims. The Netherlands swimmer going in lane 1, Charlie Hutchison. Swam well in the individual medley as well. He goes in lane number 2. Jeremy Bagshaw from Limerick in 3. Daniel Whiffen trying to claim another freestyle title. He won the 800, he won the 1500. Moving down to the 4 now. He goes in lane number 4. Kieran Bird from University of Bath goes in lane number 5. No one in 6. Alexander Sargent back in the water again in lane number 7. And Gabriel El Nadib from Hovenstatens in lane number 8. Daniel Whiffen has been a real star of distance swimming over the last year or so. That Commonwealth Games medal, of course, the first Northern Irish man to win a swimming medal at the Commonwealth Games. And he has a lead over Kieran Bird. Kieran Bird also a Commonwealth Games swimmer. Just on the shoulder of Daniel Whiffen. And Daniel Whiffen with that entry time of 3:44 might think himself in good shape. See if he can do the freestyle treble here. He's going to have some other swimmers for company, though. He's not going to have it all his own way, but Whiffen has been on good form. Just slightly off his best times that we've seen him, but not too bad at all over those longer distance events. And Kieran Bird and Daniel Whiffen returned absolutely together at the top in 1:26.29. Pretty close as they go over at the bottom end here. Kieran Bird just taking that one by 8/100ths. Charlie Hutchison in 3rd and Sargent in 4th place and Bagshaw in 5th, not out of it at all.
So, yeah, Bird and Whiffen. 22-year-old Daniel Whiffen, 24-year-old Kieran Bird. And it is Whiffen just edging into the lead now, still pushing on really well. Charlie Hutchison in lane 2. He's not far away from the two leaders. 2:26.66. Whiffen just pacing just under the 30 there. And you wouldn't bet against him taking the 4:8.15. He's ticked off the 15 on Friday, the 8 last night. So can he get the triple? It's a pretty good triple to get. It's the tough one, isn't it? The 4, the 8 and the 15. And he has the lead, 2:56.64. So pretty much on the minute for his 3rd 100. And you're 4th in this one at the Commonwealth Games for Northern Ireland after that medals in the 1500. Still has Bird right there with him. Charlie Hutchison, perhaps better known for medley swimming, but he's going nicely here. 3:58 entry time he did in Glasgow last year. But final turn, 3:26.9 against 2 swims of 3:27s. As Whiffen looking to see off. Of course, he trains in Loughborough along with Charlie Hutchison, Bird from Bath. Then just behind them, the Canadian based in Limerick, Jeremy Bagshaw. This is going to be tight at the finish here. Let's see who gets the touch. That might be Kieran Bird, just wants it that little bit more. I don't think they'll be too bothered about that. I think probably maybe those first 4 will all make it through into the open final, but we'll find out in about 5 minutes' time. 3:56.20, then the winning time for Kieran Bird, just ahead of Daniel Whiffen, 3:56.76, and Charlie Hutchison, 3:57.23.
Yeah, looking good shape there to make that top 8, but fast heat still to come. Just keep an eye on those times there. 3:57, the 4 swimmers who led the way there. And this final heat of this 400 freestyle, Michael Flynn from City of Glasgow in 1, Finn McGeever from Limerick in 2, Toby Robinson and Felix Albeck going 3 and 4, 2 Loughborough University swimmers. Luke Turley from University of Bath goes in 5, Yoav Romano from Israel in 6, Nathan Whiffen goes for Loughborough University in 7, and Cameron Travis from University of Aberdeen Performance in lane number 8. So Felix Albeck, again, one of the world's top performers, 4th place in the World Championships, Olympic finalists as well, the Austrian European Championship finalist. So he's been in all the major championships, Felix Albeck. He is 2nd at the minute, I think. Luke Turley from University of Bath has taken it out strongly. Commonwealth Games swimmer last year, Luke Turley. And had a very good swim in the 800 yesterday to take a medal. He leads Felix Albeck. Finn McGeever going well in lane number 2. And also coming through strongly in lane number 6, Yoav Romano, the Israeli swimmer, the 19-year-old, one of the youngest in the field. 2 19-year-olds in this one. Cameron Travis right up there at the top from University of Aberdeen Performance, also 19 years of age. Luke Turley looking good. Remember the top 4 in that previous heat, 1:57. And as these top 3 begin to stretch away from the field, they're looking to try and secure that place in the fastest 8. Turley, to say, looking good in the centre of those 2, Felix Albeck and Yoav Romano. Tussle for 4th position. Finn McGeever and Toby Robinson absolutely together, then tied for 4th position as the top 3 begin to stretch away, Duncan.
Yeah, and those 3 all a bit faster than the previous heat, particularly Luke Turley. Bath trying to make a point here. We saw Kieran Bird in the previous heat, and now Luke Turley's turn. But no, he's got swimmers still either side of him. Back in 4, Romano in 6, right there or thereabouts. Romano, the Irishman, just missed out on the final in the European Juniors last summer, 9th place. But well, I don't know whether 4th is the worst place to be or 9th. You're very disappointed to miss the final in 9th, because I'm sure you feel, well, I could have got a little bit faster and made it. But anyway, that's where he was. But it's Obeck and Turley now. Obeck for the first time, just with the touch, 2:55.25, still nicely inside the previous heat. The top 3 all inside the previous heat at the 300. And Obeck starting to make his move. As you said, Paul, there's not much that Felix Obeck hasn't achieved in middle and distance freestyle swimming, and he's managing this very nicely. You see there, 29.48, quite a bit faster on that second last 50, and suddenly he's got a lead of a bit more than a body length over Turley and Romano. All these 3 you would expect to be in the open final later on, but certainly Obeck is going to be, and I think he'll have the centre lane here as he's bringing it home with a lead of about 3 metres in 3:53.58. So yes, comfortably the fastest qualify into the open final. Turley will be there, 3:54.94. In fact, he'll be in the same lane, lane 5. Romano will certainly be there. Toby Robinson right on 4 minutes. Not sure. Let's see in a minute. So that is the lineup from that heat. So see Robinson fourth in 4 minutes on the nail, ahead of Finn McGeever, who was up there at the early stages but just faded. Oh, and he just makes it, Toby Robinson, in 8th spot with that 4 minutes. So Obek, Turley, Romano, the top 3. And there are your potential B finalists, depending on what happens later this afternoon.
Yeah, Tony Joe, Trent Oliver getting into that B final. Should be safely in there for another swim tonight. And, as you said, all provisional because we do have the afternoon swims as well. And the afternoon swimmers can force their way into one of the finals, whether it be an A final, B final, or the junior final. I think we've had not had anyone swim fast enough for the A final, but we have had a couple made their way into the B final, and a number of juniors as well made their way in. 200 individual medley for women is the final event of this morning's session. 5 heats. Don't think we're going to have any bonus swim-off events.
Not that we've heard so far, unless we get one in this one. You never know.
Extend the session a little bit.
Don't think you could ask them to go straight into a swim-off, so they'd have to decide what to do about that.
There's another 2 sessions to come. I'm sure they can fit it in a little bit later on this afternoon. Let's line up for this one. Joe Nei Chong Tong goes in lane number 2. Hetty Damasa goes in lane number 3. Susie McNair has had a couple of good swims in the distance events, especially the Stirling swim. Swimmer in lane 4. Ailey Robertson from South Ayrshire back in again in lane 5. Emily Maxwell Dermottside in 6. And Scarlett Ferris off to a cracking start there. She goes in lane number 7. Stirling University swimmer. It's far and away ahead of the rest of the field. Scarlett Ferris here. She comes down towards the halfway point.
Yeah, very much a backstroker, Scarlett Ferris, so she'll want to take full advantage of this part of the IM, and then I think they'll probably come back at her in the breaststroke, but we'll find out shortly. 1:05.83 for Scarlett. She's got a lead of near enough 2 seconds from Susie McNair, Hetty Damasa, 2nd and 3rd. So let's see how things move on here. Lane 3 pushing it, and that is Hetty Damasa. And she's just maybe ahead of Susie McNair now. And they are closing in on Scarlett Ferris with just about every stroke. Also coming up nicely is Ailey Robertson in lane 5, very strong breaststroker, but still got quite a lot of catching up to do. As we come up to the 150, is Scarlett going to hang on to the lead here? If she has, she's got a chance in the freestyle. It's really close, but it's Hetty just by 3/10, 150.51. And it looks like it's lanes 3 and 4 are going to decide this now. Damasa in 3, McNair in 4. I think Scarlett Ferris is done for this one, and it looks like the advantage with the Repton swimmer as they go 15 meters to go. But it's not quite finished yet, but I think Hetty Damasa has the strength. Look at that stroke rate. She's really piling it in there. 2:22.76, so nice improvement of over a second for her on her entry time. Susie McNair, 2:23.48. She's also inside her entry time. And Scarlett Ferris holding on for 3rd, 2:26.72.
But it was head down and extending the arms into that last few strokes there for Hetty Damasa. And to make sure of that good finish and that good time.
Yeah, credit to her. She really attacked that, didn't she, in those last 50 meters, particularly, as you said, the last 15 or so. So the lineup for heat number 2, we've got an empty lane in 3. So the lineup is Sophie Amagu of Hovedstatens in 1, a teammate Micheline Stockbrough in 2, Elise Cousins of Perth City in 4, Holly Marshall of Repton in 5, Megan Byrne, University of Bath in 6, Eleanor Broughton, the 2nd Repton swimmer, in lane 7, and Kira Fletcher for Nova Centurion in lane 8, 2:21 to 2:23. is the range of entry times here. Not too much separating them on the butterfly. The Perth swimmer, Elise Cousins, is she going to turn first? It's tight. In fact, it's Mickaleen Stockbroke, 30.69, not as fast as the previous heat. But, did see that very fast start from Scarlett Ferris on the far side in the first heat. Now edging through is Repton's Holly Marshall in lane 5. And I think she is looking pretty tidy on the backstroke. Also with her, Megan Byrne from the University of Bath, I think has now moved into second place ahead of Elise Cousins. That's your 1, 2, 3 as we come to halfway. Marshall 1:06.02 leads the way.
Well, we saw a win for Repton in that first heat. I wonder if we're going to get another one here. Holly Marshall, Repton in 5. Eleanor Broughton, also a Repton swimmer in lane 7. Probably lying in about, maybe in a contest for 3rd there. But it is Holly Marshall and Megan Byrne from the University of Bath as the breaststrokers all try to come back on the breaststroke element of this individual medley. I don't think they're going to catch Holly Marshall, though. She's going really well. We'll just check on the splits there. Marshall is certainly going to hold this lead as she goes into the freestyle. 42.70 for her. It's extended the lead over Byrne, and yeah, probably the fastest breaststroke of all the field was Holly Marshall. So she is maintaining that lead there. She'll come down trying to dip under her entry time of 2:21.70. She's holding off the challenge of Megan Byrne in lane 6, but only just as Megan Byrne tries to make a comeback now. They're coming into the last 5 meters or so. Megan Byrne might just take it here. What a finish from Megan Byrne, and she will get it in 2:22.74. A great 50 freestyle there from Megan Byrne, and she pips Holly Marshall 2:22.74 against 2:22.94.
Sophie Magoo putting in a blinding last 50 as well, so she took the battle of Hoverstatons there against her teammate Mickaleen Stockbroke, taking 3rd place there.
The Battle of Hoverstatons, that sounds like something out of a history lesson, doesn't it? I need to look that one up.
1465, I think it was.
Right. Next heat is on its way, and this is the first of the cyclically seeded heats. I'll put my teeth back in. Orla Adams, closest to us, University of Aberdeen Performance. Elise Tannis from Netherlands in lane number 2. Zinke Delcommune from Belgium in 3. Candice Hall in the centre lane, red cap, City of Sheffield. Alba Vasquez Ruiz from Spain, slightly off the pace in the early stages here. Cornelia Pammer back in the water again. The Austrian swimmer going very well in lane number 6, and there's another battle of Hovenstatens in 7 and 8 there. Valkatind and Ophelia Nordica.
The second battle of Hoverstatons.
Yes. That was 100 years later. It's the red cap, City of Sheffield swimmer, Candice Hall. Looking good in these early stages. And again, we saw the breaststrokers come back in the previous heats. Although Holly Marshall, you have to say, was extended her lead at the front of the field, just caught on the freestyle. And what Candice Hall's got in the tank here for the second half of this one. She has a lead of around about 1.5 seconds over Pammer and Tannis.
Candice Hall 4th in last year's British Championship. She was a winner in the British Summer Championships. 26-year-old from City of Sheffield. Let's see how the breaststroke works out, because it looks like lane 6, Cornelia Pammer, the Austrian from Oberoster, is still very much up there, and in between them, trying to get close, Alba Vasquez Ruiz, but it is still Hall into the freestyle with a lead of just over 0.5 seconds, 1:44.85. Palmer second, Delcommune in 3rd place ahead of Vasquez Ruiz. So it does look like there's 3 now in the contest. Candice Hall will try and hold off the other 2. Is there going to be another big charge in the freestyle? Certainly, Palmer is looking strong in lane 6, and she has come through. And once again, a really strong freestyle to take it, bringing it in at 32.44 for her freestyle length, and takes the win in 2:17.87. Another excellent swim from the Austrian Cornelia Palmer, very close to her entry time. 18:33 for Candice Hall. Zinka Del Comune to 18:94 in third.
Yeah, lucky lane 6 there. I think 2 fast freestyles in lane 6 to take the wins in these previous 2 heats.
So heat number 4, everyone present. Karen Haysbrook of Israel in 1, Ombre Franquinet of Belgium in 2, Paula Jus Sanchez in 3 for Spain. Katie Shanahan, having missed the 200 backstroke, she's here for the 200 IM for Stirling University in 4. Then 2 Spaniards, Emma Carrasco-Cadence in 5 and Laura Cabanez Garzas in 6. Elsa McDonald of Edinburgh University in 7, and Rebecca Reid of Aberdeen in lane 8. Katie Shanahan, winner of the 400 medley, British University champion just 2 weeks ago, but it's Jus Sanchez leads the way, 28.54, and that's quite a bit faster, about a second faster than the previous heat. Shanahan right there with her, but Paula Jus Sanchez really pushing it out in the early stages here. The Spaniard, 4th in the Mediterranean Games, where all the countries around the Mediterranean get together for, I suppose, their equivalent of our Commonwealth Games. And certainly a really tidy first half here for Jus Sanchez. Gives her a lead of over a second going into breaststroke.
Yeah, and she has that advantage. Can she hold on to it? When they get onto the breaststroke, Katie Shanahan, we've seen her swim very good individual medley swims this past year or so, certainly in the 400 individual medley, and she's kind of made her name as an individual medley swimmer way back as a real youngster, almost the best part of a decade ago. And we've seen Katie Shanahan coming through the ranks as maybe like a 10-year-old, 11-year-old, and she's come through into the senior ranks in this last year or so and has really made a big impact. She's got a little bit to catch up for the top 2. So Jus Santos and Carrasco Kerins ahead of Katie Shanahan. She just wants to make sure of that place in the top 8. I think the Scot in the centre. I think these top 3 should be safe enough. Katie Shanahan making a little bit of a move there. Jus Sanchez is going to hold on though. It's been a good swim from the Spanish swimmer. Sanchez gets in 2:15.78. Just half a second outside her entry time. Katie Shanahan in 2:16.37, comfortably moving through into second place, and Carrasco Cadens in third place, and the third Spanish swimmer in fourth place there, 2:21.28, giving her an outside chance, I think, of making that top 8. Certainly get a B final swim at the very least for the third Spanish swimmer. And there's the lineup for the 5th heat. Meryl Schravendijk in 1 for the Netherlands, Kate Morris, Nova Centurion in 2, Brigitte Sagard, Hovenstatens in 3, Abby Wood will be the favourite for this one in 4, Ellen Walsh from Ireland in 5, Silke Hulkenborg in 6 from the Netherlands, next to her Netherlands teammate Anna van Droffelaar, and Holly Robinson in the outside lane for Repton in lane number 8. Well, Abby Wood, Commonwealth Games medalist, just missed out on the medals at the Olympics in Tokyo in 4th position. A real star of British swimming. We saw her earlier on this morning. She had a decent swim and teed up that final in the 200 breaststroke. She's going to be in another final here in the 200 individual medley. Abby Wood leads the way
The swimmer from Ireland, Ellen Walsh, has had a great couple of days. Some improvements on her entry time and featuring in the mix for a number of events, and she's right there as she goes ahead of Abby Wood. Commonwealth Games medalist, of course, Abby Wood, 4th place in the Olympics, and Ellen Walsh is right there alongside her with Hulkenberg in 3rd place.
Yeah, these three looking pretty good here, and in particular the two in the centre lanes, Walsh and Wood. They'll be battling away on this one, I think. So remember, 2:15.78 we saw in the previous heat, and they were just about on the same pace at the halfway mark as the previous heat. Ellen Walsh, sporting the Irish cap there, was impressive recently at the McCullum meet, did a 2:12 in Bangor, and she still just has the edge by 300ths from Abby Wood, 1:42.55, half a second up on the previous heat. These two certainly will feature in the open final tonight. Who's going to get it? Are they going to get lane 4? It's still Walsh just, I think, as they are halfway down this last length, and it looks like she's going to get it. Abby Wood is staying fairly close to her, but I don't think she's going to get past her. So it's going to be an Irish victory in our last race of the morning, and she will be fastest qualifier in a time of 2:14.62. Abby Wood will be second fastest, 2:15.01, so they'll occupy on each other's lanes. They'll be going to 4 for Walsh, 5 for Wood. Hulkenberg will be there, I'm sure, at 2:17.73 in 3rd place. Holly Robinson, let's wait and see, 2:21.98 in 4th. So there are the top 8. Candice Hall just edging in 8th place. Walsh leads the way. And the B-finalists there, Del Carmoon through to Megan Byrne. Holly Robinson, there you can see, comfortably into the B-final. So that brings our swimming to a close for the morning session. It seems to have flown by. We had those 1500s early on. But, thanks very much for your company, Paul.
Thanks, Duncan. It's been good again.
We'll be back for more. We have session 8 coming on air at just before 12:30, as we just see those last scrollings. We'll be on air at 12:25. We hope you'll be able to join us then. But for now, from the Royal Commonwealth Pool here in Edinburgh, from myself, Duncan McKinnell, and my co-commentator, Paul Noble, we'll wish you a very good morning.